G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins.
You'd better put a chick in it. And make it fucking gay as fuck.
Going somewhere?
Put her on a path of her own choosing, so that no matter which direction she takes, we'll always be one step ahead of her.
What?
That is so lame.
Hello everybody and welcome to Casual Rage 171, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week, and we've got a fair bit to talk about today because we missed last week and I do apologize for that. Unfortunately, I wasn't well. I had bronchitis and I was just trying to recover, trying to get through. So we are here. We've obviously got the Bad Batch to talk about because we didn't get to talk about that last week. We've got some May the 4th stuff. It actually kind of annoyed me. Even if we had have done the stream last week, May the 4th would have been the next day. So we would still be talking about all the May the 4th stuff now anyway. We have Tales of the Empire to talk about. What a disaster. I mean, what a disaster Star Wars is just in general at the moment. But we've got that to talk about. We've got The Acolyte, the second official trailer that we've got to talk about, and a few more bits and pieces, and obviously Seal of the Week. We've got a couple of videos too that we're going to watch today. Again, because we didn't do last week, I thought we're just gonna let it roll. We're just gonna let it ride tonight. So, however long we go for, I decided that I hadn't spoken to anyone about playing any games today, so I thought, stuff it. We'll just start at the usual time and we'll just let it ride and see how we go. But I hope you're all doing well. I am still not 100%, but I am doing better. Much better than I was. Still got a bit in the nose and still a little bit of a cough and every now and then, like yesterday, my throat was fine. And then I wake up this morning and it's a little croaky. So we'll deal with it, but we'll get through. So let's quickly say hello to the chat and see who's here. We've got Darth Ghostface. How you doing? Good to see you. We've got Star Wars Marvel Purist. Now, just so you guys know, I'm hoping to get back on Star Wars Marvel Purist channel next week, I think. Maybe after Casual Rage or something like that, so that we can finish the Plagueis novel breakdown. That was a really, really fun conversation. If you weren't there, go over to Star Wars Marvel Purist channel, give him a sub, and I'm sure the stream is on his channel, and you can rewatch that. Get all caught up to where we got up to. I think we got. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we got up to chapter 10. And there's 30 chapters. So we might even have to do a third stream after we do the second one. We'll have to see how we go again. But good to see you. Tyranazilla, good to see you. Mudcrab, have a birthday for last Saturday. Don't start the birthday thing with me, man. This is Moz's meme. Leighton Beardo. I've seen there's been a bit of Beardo hate out there recently. I don't mind Beardo. He's all right. What did he do that was so bad? This is the thing. Is because, like, you know, Lethal and Mozza, they do their stream like 8:30 in the morning for me. I'm pretty much at work. I start at 8:30. So I don't really get to see all the shit that goes on. But, yeah. Mr. Bentham, good to see you. Let's go. Let's go. Caw to you too, the nuisance bird. Good to see you. Who else have we got? We got Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan. Hello. Let me see. Let me scroll down. No coffee. Just the Coke. It's so funny. Have you ever had like fucking can where the bottom's all pushed out? What do they do? How does that work? Like when they inject the Coke into it, does it just blast and fucking pops the bottom out like that? Because then when you sit it down, it doesn't sit flat. Anyway, there's my Coke story for you. Let's see, who else have we got here? We got Melissa Lords in the chat. Mike Hill. Firafema. Who else we got? Let me scroll a little bit here. Mr. Grant Gregory, never on time. Yeah, we were close enough. We were close enough. Joanna, man? Joanna? How you doing? Good to see you. Just found your channel, if I can read, which I can't. Just found your channel through Side Scrollers, man. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming over. If you did sub, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Yes, they talked a little bit about me. Not yesterday or not today, earlier today, but their stream yesterday. Just because of the clip that I put out on Twitter, so that was kind of cool. And thanks to those guys over there, Stutter and Craig and Blabs, of course. She's awesome. We got Star Round 7. Hi, Star Round 7. Good to see you as well. Miss J. Let me scroll down a little bit. RIP Star Wars. May 25th is real Star Wars Day. This is true. Actually, if I missed anyone, let me just go through and then I'll talk about it, actually. I better catch as many people as I can. Stargate stream when? I got to start doing fucking videos for that. This is, man, I'm the lazy cunt. Let's be honest. I'd like to do a stream. Look at that. Just as I start, I shouldn't show the thing, show the number. I just got a call. It's a work call. It's a customer. I know it's a customer because I recognize the number. Stargate stream when? I don't know about stream. I'd like to do a stream, but a Stargate stream, because there's 10 seasons of Stargate and 25 episodes roughly a season, it's too much to talk about when it comes to doing a stream. I would rather do just videos and keep it sort of as at that, to be honest with you. Shit, where did I go? Fucking jumped on me. Fractured Filter, of course, dropping by really quick. Have a great stream, Rhino, and chat. Smash the like button. Yes, please do smash that like button. Fractured Filter always comes back and rewatches the stream on the replay. If you are here watching the replay, thank you. Please do smash the like button and consider subscribing. That would be greatly appreciated. We've got Shiri in the chat. How you doing? I keep saying Sherry. It's Sherry, isn't it? Fucking retard. Look at me. I'm not a fucking idiot. What else we got? Mr. Grant Gregory for 2 says, happy birthday for last Saturday, brother. I don't know where this is coming from. Don't know where this is coming from, but I'll take it. Thanks. Thanks for the birthday wishes. We've got Alora, OG Star Wars. How you doing? Good to see you. Let me see. Alex Bates. Fuck Disney. Yes.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt! Yes. What else we got? Stargate. Yes, Stargate's so awesome. It really is. And I see you, Soul Assassin. I see you, Blake. I see you, Tillium. Good to see all you guys. With Stargate, I'm currently doing a 4th watch through with a mate of mine. We put it on. We were halfway through season 2, and we kind of just put it on hold for a second, and then we watched Invincible. We watched the first season of Reacher. We've still got to watch the second season of Reacher. I've only watched, I think, the first episode of the second season of Reacher. But I said to him, he's like, what are we going to watch? And I'm like, well, we can either watch the second season of Reacher or we can go back to Stargate. And personally, I really want to go back to Stargate. So we went back to Stargate and we watched the 2-part episode recently, the Tok'ra. That's a really good arc that I love. I love Stargate so much. It's just, again, too much. There's too much there to talk about. 19 Larry. Yesterday, I went to watch Phantom Menace re-release. And it was such a great time. I bet it was, man. I bet it was. Especially since I was never able to watch those movies when they came out. I was too young. Well, I'm glad that you were able to get that experience. Did you see the clip that they have that where you were? The clip for the Acolyte? They are really trying to tie the Acolyte into the prequels badly trying to connect it. Quentin, I see you. Commence Casual Rage. Yes, commence Casual Rage. All right, we're pretty much all caught up here. Give Disney money for the prequels, Disney shill. Hey, look, I can understand if a person loves original Star Wars so much and they never got an opportunity to see a movie like that, especially with that Duel of the Fates at the end in theaters. And more power to you. Go and watch it. I don't think you're a Disney shill for wanting to see that in theaters. And look, I don't think Quentin does either, but maybe he does. You never know. No, stop it. Stop being mean. Too young. It was a hurricane. I see you being tagged. So how you doing? Sorry, I must have missed you. Oh, there you are. What was the point of season 3 of The Bad Batch? Clearly, Disney had no direction. Well, we are going to talk about that for sure. For sure. But the first thing I want to talk about is May the 4th. May the 4th is not Star Wars Day. It's not. May the 4th was essentially like created before Disney took it over. It became a meme. It was created as a meme before Disney took it over. It was fun to play around with it. It was fun to think, okay, maybe on that day I'll watch a Star Wars movie. I never sat down and watched all 3 of like the OT or all 3 of the PT or anything like that. But I sat down and I like would it watch Revenge of the Sith, or I would watch Empire, or Return of the Jedi. I would watch one of them. I don't do that anymore because I'm so jaded because of Disney. But I liked the idea of just having that there as a meme. It was sort of another day that we could sort of all Star Wars fans could sort of just collectively celebrate, their love of Star Wars. But then obviously Disney takes it over and they turn the meme into the official Star Wars Day. It's nuts. It's fucking nuts. Star Wars Day is May 25th. Always has been the day that Star Wars, or if you want to call it A New Hope, was released. 1977. And that will always be the actual official Star Wars Day. And then, like I said, the meme was the meme. But this year, they seem to really take it a massive step forward. When I say forward, it was a massive step backwards in my eyes. But we got a couple of things that we're going to watch for May the 4th. Now, obviously, for May the 4th, we pretty much in that week, we had the final episode of The Bad Batch. On May the 4th, the actual day, they released another Acolyte trailer, which we'll get to. And they released the Tales of the Empire. And then there was a whole, it was a massive marketing campaign. If you went onto Disney Plus, everything in the title cards, right, was all Star Wars. It was just everything. There was nothing in there that wasn't Star Wars. So it was, I don't know. I'm so jaded by everything that Disney does with Star Wars now. And it's hard because, I've said this before. Star Wars is my favorite franchise. I think, if you don't know that by now, obviously there might be new people in the chat, but, and that's why I continue watching it painfully. I've said to people that I am well and truly done, past Star Wars ever coming back and being good. That's gone. That's well and truly gone, because there's no way that they're going to come in and decanonize the stuff that they've done, right? So I've come to terms with the fact that it will never get back to its former glory. However, I will never stop watching it. Never stop watching it. And it's more or less to point out where they've gone wrong. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. I know that there's people out there that say, thanks for watching it and reviewing these things so I don't have to, and all of that sort of thing. And I appreciate those messages, and it definitely makes it at least it means something when I do watch it. It gives it some sort of meaning for me. But you can't ever expect me to sit there and say, I think this is any good. The expectation of that can't be there. There have been episodes, like in season 2 of The Bad Batch, there was a couple of decent episodes in there. But again, I've always got to put that clause in there, or that, preface it with, by saying, it's in the Disney canon. So despite the fact that it is in the Disney canon, it was a decent episode, right? So yeah. Let's see. Let's watch this. This was something I haven't watched this. But this was released on, of course, May the 4th on the official Star Wars Twitter account. So this was it. This May the 4th, we celebrate the best fans in the galaxy. May the 4th be with you. Let's take a look.
Remove your helmet. We must walk the way together.
It all started with the fans.
If I could sum up Star Wars fans in one word:
energy,
Love.
trust.
Fearless.
Loyalty.
I'm counting on you. We stay together.
We're a family.
Come on, let's go!
Star Wars.
Okay, I want to point out, you notice up to the point just before we get to the pod race here, nothing that they've shown is anything Star Wars. Funnily enough. It's all Disney Star Wars.
Star Wars, it's a family that you'll carry on with you for a very long time to come, I think, and I hope.
This is where the fun begins.
Come on, baby, do the magic hand thing.
Magic hand thing.
Star Wars has been something I did with my father when I was a kid.
And then it just became like this tradition.
It's been a part of my life forever.
Space Miyagi.
This fandom brings in friends that I've never had before.
I'm looking for someone. Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
One way out! Okay.
Long live the Empire.
We're doing Star Wars, baby!
It's unreal.
The amount of effort you put into being fans, it's part of what makes Star Wars so great.
All the Star Wars.
I don't believe you, Dave Filoni. I don't believe you. Because if this truly was the family or the whatever it is that you're talking about throughout this entire, let's say, mini trailer for May the 4th, the dedication, the this, that they were talking about the fans, then you wouldn't have shit all over the fans when they gave you criticism for the sequels. You wouldn't shit all over the fans when they criticize the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and the patheticness of Reva's character, Ewan McGregor, sitting in your car doing a retarding car video saying how there's all these racist fucking Star Wars fans. You're no Star Wars fan in my eyes. No. If the Star Wars fan doesn't align with your little agenda of crap storytelling and diverse DEI fucking checkbox ticking stories, then they're no Star Wars fan in your eyes. Family, get the fuck out. This isn't Fast and the Furious, you retards.
Fans.
May the 4th be with you.
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 See, they've made it so that I don't even want to. Fuck. I'm sorry, guys. I got to take this call. I'm really sorry. I'll be right back. Sorry, I had to take that because the guy called like 4 times since I showed you guys that he called. So I just need to take that. Fuck, now I don't know where I was. Okay, so yeah, even seeing like this right at the end here.
May the fourth be with you.
May the fourth be with you.
Fuck off. Like, seriously, guys, fuck off. No. It doesn't, it makes me not even want to say May the 4th. Like, I didn't do a May the 4th tweet. I didn't say May the 4th on May the 4th. Never once did I say it. And it's because Disney's tarnished the brand so much that even an enjoyable meme has been destroyed for real Star Wars fans. Well, it has for me. What do you see when you look at this shot here? Let me just. Oh, I see the same thing here. Woman. All right, Space Miyagi. Woman. Women.
Put a chicken in, make her name it gay. Make her name it gay.
So yeah, for me, Disney has tarnished May the 4th so much that I don't want anything to do with May the 4th. I will celebrate Star Wars on the 25th, and I'll probably sit down and watch one of the movies like I would have on May the 4th. But Darth Ghostface says, May the 4th be with you is a stupid pun. I've always hated it. I wasn't always a hater of May the 4th. I thought it was kind of funny. And it kind of like when I first ever heard it, like, oh, May the 4th be with you. That's kind of funny. And then it became Revenge of the 5th. And, you know, it expanded to a point where nearly the entire month, every day of the entire month, I saw something on, I should have saved it, but I saw something on Twitter. And it was like a screenshot of like every day in May is it like a Star Wars name. What is Disney trying to turn Star Wars Day, their May the 4th Star Wars Day, into like Star Wars Month or something? Is that what they're going for? Thank you, Ghostface. Appreciate that. Yeah, I was not always a hater of it, but Disney created that hatred. Disney's created a hatred for Disney Star Wars like nothing else. There's a lot of people out there that are jaded by what Disney has done. And I think that's proof in a lot of the, and we're going to talk about it, like those Acolyte trailers and things like that. I got to take that off the screen. But that's not where the May the 4th cringe ends. Not even close. Not even close. So look, I don't ever really get into politics on this channel. But this is something that did you not know? Revenge of the 5th was that's been around for like I think a couple of years after May the 4th was like made a thing. Revenge of the 5th was made a thing, and then there's the Return of the 6th, and like it just goes on and on and on and on. I don't know what Return of the 6th, like it's Return of the Jedi. It's not Return of the Sith. So I don't know why that even became a thing. But it is. It is a thing for weirdo Disney Star Wars fans. Okay, so like I said, I don't really get into politics on the channel, but this is something that I could not let slide. So on May the 4th, Mark Hamill went to the White House. And this is just a couple of the cringy fucking things. This guy probably is the biggest person that's got Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, after November, he's going to cry so much. And to try and politicize Star Wars in this way is really pathetic, cringy, makes me hate it even more. And I hate Mark Hamill. You know, it's kind of funny. I'm glad I never had an opportunity to meet Mark Hamill. You know, they do say don't meet your heroes. But before Trump, I would have been honored to have met Mark Hamill. Maybe get a signature on something. Now, even if he was somewhere, mate, go, like, if I talk to you, I will knock you out. No doubt about it. There wouldn't even be words. There would be no talking. So these are just some of the cringy things that Mark Hamill decided to do on Star Wars Day in the White House.
Well, you know, I called him Mr. President. He said, you can call me Joe. And I said, can I call you Joby-Wan Kenobi? Well,
Mark, stick to your day job. You are no stand-up comic. This chick is retard. But look at her, like, little...
You know, I called him Mr. President. He said, you can call me Joe. And I said, can I call you Joby-Wan Kenobi?
Ugh. But it doesn't even end there. This guy's in the White House press conference, fucking, I don't know how it all works over there, but you know. They prance Mark Hamill out on Star Wars Day to what? Address the country with this crap? Like I said, it does not end there. Riding with Biden. Well, what a spastic.
May the 4th be with you.
Always.
I don't even know what to say, man. Doesn't even end there.
Hi, I'm Mark Hamill, actor and ambassador for United 24, Ukraine's official fundraising platform launched by President Zelensky. We've raised over $630 million to aid Ukraine and its people. Everything we did together has been a huge help, but this war is far from over, and Ukrainians need our support more than ever before. Today is May the 4th. A symbolic day reminding us that good must prevail over evil.
A symbolic day. Hey, Mark, you're doing Disney Star Wars a disservice. You got to remember, this isn't about good and evil anymore. It's not. What are you talking about?
And light must overcome darkness.
No.
Let's continue our efforts to help Ukraine overcome this vile, illegal invasion. It really does make a difference. Thanks so much. May the Force be with you, and may your force be with Ukraine.
Oh my God.
Always.
Gay. Politicizing Star Wars. You know why this is working with the Disney Star Wars fans? Because they're all the pronoun people. They're all the ones that are like queer for Palestine and all of that shit. But it doesn't end there.
Hey, I'm Mark Hamill, and I'm voting for Joby-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, you're the only one. You are the only one. Oh, you and everybody else in Hollywood, you're just going to have this, you know, maybe, you know, Joe will get 1,000 votes from people in Hollywood, and then the rest of the country will be all Trump. I'm voting for Joby-Wan Kenobi. What a fucking fag. Ugh. At least that's where the cringe ends. At least that is where the cringe ends. Mark Hamill, you're a sellout. You know, I have no doubt that during like the COVID vaccine stuff, you were one of those people that's like, follow the science, look at the statistics. Well, that's something you're failing to do right now with everything. Everything. Look at the statistics of the state of Star Wars. Look at the statistics of the state of your country and the inflation. And I'm not saying the state of our country is any fucking better, because we've got just as many retards as politicians as you guys do. And Australia wants to be America just as bad as fucking, or they want to be America. Politicize everything. So at least that's where the cringe ends. Oh no. Oh no. Mr. Grant Gregory for 2 says Hayden did something with Trudeau. Haven't you seen it? Or haven't you seen? No. Can you DM that to me? I would like to see it. Well, I actually wouldn't like to see it, but I need to see that now. This is what I'm talking about. The Hollywood idiots. I don't understand them. I really don't. I really don't. But I need to look up this person before I talk about it. Hold on one second. Sorry. Give me 1 sec here, guys. Oh, let me get rid of these. I've got so many tabs open. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of all of fucking Mark Hamill. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. Okay. So, let me bring this up. So, just a reminder, David, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Conaswet is a fellow hardcore Star Wars fan. So this is the guy that's playing the new Superman. I hate how they do that. The Force is strong with Superman. Hashtag may the Fourth be with you. I did see this and I thought it was kind of cool though. You know, only somebody that's watched the movies multiple times would be able to sort of sit there and do this.
The Death Star is in range. You may fire when ready. I have you now. What? Yahoo! You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home. I think it was a little early on that one.
It was a little
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home. Stand by. Stand by. Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million. The Force will be with you always.
Doing all the sound effects. See, that's honestly, that's probably something that I would do if I was listening to the soundtrack and listening to the music. I'd be, you know, talking along with it. I just saw it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was kind of funny. You think it's cringe? I'd do something like that. That's something I would do. That's all. So that's why I sort of brought it up. You know, it's funny. I would expect somebody like this guy to have liked, you know, cinema that much, that Star Wars was so massive. So massive. If you think it's cringe, that's fine. I don't think it's that cringe. Because like I said, I'd do it. That's exactly what I would do. Exactly what I would do. You used to play with Star Wars toys while watching the movie. Yeah, it is, but it's not like I would. It's not like I actually turn it on. It's if I was to actually turn it on. I DM'd you the video. All right, cool. G'day, Evan. How you doing? I saw that there was a massive super chat up here from Darth Ghostface. Okay, Darth Ghostface for 20 says, never forget Mark Hamill attacked Donald Trump's wife and grandchildren over a tweet of them dressed in stormtrooper costume, captioned, "The Force is strong with my family," to which Mark responded with, you misspelt fraud. So, yeah, okay. So he wanted it's supposed to say, "The fraud is strong with my family," or "in my family." Yeah, Mark Hamill's a piece of shit. Massive amounts of Trump derangement syndrome. Not only, I'm sure America as a country, as a nation, when Trump was in office for those 4 years, was doing fantastic. And the reason why I think that was because the rest of the world was doing fantastic. When you've got one of the biggest superpowers in the world, America, that's flourishing and prospering and doing really well, the economy's great, jobs are doing, people are getting jobs and they're working hard and they're doing really well and life is happy. The rest of the world seems to do really well. I know I was. In fact, in my entire adult life, there has only ever really been 4 years where I've been comfortable, where I've been able to sort of do things that I just want to do, or, you know, and guess when those 4 years were? When Trump was in office. So he's, you know, it's funny. There was that whole thing about going after, you know, YouTubers' families and you know, with that, the whole thing with Nerdrotic and his missus and the Miss Piggy meme picture thing that came up. And then, you know, people started going after Nerdrotic or Gary because, you know, he's constantly tweeting to Mark Hamill, like, have you seen your granddaughter, and all of this kind of thing. Now, look, while I you know, I do disagree with going after family and stuff like that. The problem is with somebody like Mark Hamill is he's so much in the public eye and there's so much that's been publicized about it that, okay, maybe you are going to criticize him for his take on whether or not he wants to meet his grandchild or not, or whatever the case may be. But, you know, no one's immune from that. Like Mark Hamill went after Donald Trump's family in a picture where they were dressed up for Halloween, I think it was. I remember it. Dressed up as like stormtroopers, Star Wars dress up. So, This is the thing, though. If you're going to put yourself out there, like, you know, I've been memed to the shit with memes that have been, you know, just in jest, you know, funny, and, you know, the person's just taking the piss. There have been some serious ones where, you know, people are actually taking shots. Happens. It does happen. So, what? Where's Matt? Oh, Matt Wilkins. I love you, Matt. I do. You're awesome. Such a good friend. Great person. Doesn't have a hateful bone in his body. He's like the opposite to me. I got so much hate, and he's got so much love to give. But speaking of fantastic, Rhino looks pretty fantastic himself today. Thank you, Matt. You're awesome. I appreciate you. You're the best. All right, let's get this off the screen. Again, I just thought that was kind of cool. If I was listening to Star Wars soundtrack and you know, that moment came on, I'd probably do the same thing. Breezy Comics. Rhino's a good fella. And a fart smeller. Thanks. We've got all of that. All good. All right, let me check this thing that Grant sent me. Oh, I think I did see this. Fuck, look at that ratio. I mean, it's only got 2,800 views in the last 5 days, but it's only got 69 upvotes to 335 down. Do we really want to watch this? It's going to make me hate Hayden Christensen, isn't it? All right.
Hey, Hayden, how you doing?
Prime Minister, happy May the 4th.
And to you too, my friend. I've actually told the kids they better be binging Star Wars.
Amazing. And so what's your plan?
I'm working. I'm actually packing up my stuff because I got to hit the road soon. But listen, may the 4th be with you.
And with you.
Oh, look, he's got a Star Wars in his briefcase. Honestly, it doesn't surprise me with these people. It doesn't. Because when you look at it, these people have been all in with the, you know, destruction of the world. Because as long as the world gets destroyed, it's kind of like, do you remember the first Kingsman movie? Where, like, they put the chips in the phones so that the world will destroy itself, but all the rich and powerful get to sit in a bunker with like a chip that stops it implanted in their head, that stops them from killing each other and beating the shit out of each other until they die. They're all in on whatever that is. They're all in with whatever that is. It's funny, you know, there's so many things in movies where it's like, man, This is almost a documentary of like either things to come or things that we've seen already. Hayden is another sellout. Yeah, Kingsman does rock. I like both the Kingsmans. I haven't seen there's a prequel. What's that one called, guys? Chat, you'll know. Yeah, I'm a bit the same. I'm a bit the same. Why, Hayden? Why? It's because he's a Hollywood elite. And he's all in with the destruction of the world without looking at the facts, without looking at the science. Is it just called Kingsman? The prequel one. Is it? I've still got to watch that. Is it any good? Has anyone here seen that? I don't even really want to watch this because it makes me cringe as well. Anyway, why does Star Wars have to be so bad? And why do the people involved in Star Wars need to make Star Wars so fucking cringy? All this fucking cat hair, man. Why? Why are we watching all the cringe tonight? I know. It's like all in one foul swoop. I'm destroying you. All 44 of you in the chat right now. Man, let me check. I reckon there's more dislikes on this stream than there is likes. Let me see. Oh, no. All right. We're at 40 likes and 0 dislikes. That's kind of cool. Can we get the 50, guys? Do you reckon? Smash that like button. Because Disney owns it. Thank you, Alistair. Good to see you too. Yeah, that's true. It's because Disney owns it. That's BS. I clicked the dislike. Did you? It's still only showing me 40. 43 up and 0 down. Sorry, Grant. You don't exist. Darth Ghostface. This stream is funded by Darth Ghostface. Brought to you in part by Darth Ghostface. For $5, says Hayden doing an ad with fascist dictator Justin Trudeau is disgraceful. I have 0 respect for him now. It's a shame, isn't it? It's a real shame. Because, you know, after seeing that, I've lost respect for him too. Sellouts. You know why? Because they want to get rid of the little people. Cleanse the world of middle and lower class. So all that's left is upper class. It's disgusting. Dr. Coffinails, always good to see you, man. Gonk. Donut Lord. Oh, that's... Yeah, that's so true. I'll tell why. Disney, we're changing the world by being inclusive. We deserve to pat ourselves on the back. Fans, yeah, rainbow, fucking rainbows. Yep. Thank you, Darth Ghostface. Appreciate you. And while we're here, before we go into more cringe, thank you to all the members. I don't think I say it enough because I usually only say it at the end of the stream, but I just, I know that I'm not probably the most consistent channel out there. It is hard with full-time work and, of course, living by myself. I get home from work, I got to make dinner, I got to clean up a little bit, I got to feed the cat. Like, I'm not going to, give you all the details, but, I got a lot on my plate, so it does make it a little bit harder to get content out to you guys, but I try and get as much as I can, and I appreciate the support, especially from the members because they're just contributing monthly. And it's not to say that the people in the chat that aren't members or anything like that aren't respected, and I thank you for your support. You're always here each week. We're up to 49 people, nearly 50 people here watching, and I appreciate all you guys. You guys, more content. I got to do more content. You're right, but I always try and I always do my best, and I just can't thank you guys enough. 19 Larry X becomes a member. Now I got to check what level that's at. A tracking fob. I got to change. I'm going to change the titles of my my memberships, I think, because you come in as like, I hate Disney Star Wars, and what do I make you? A tracking fob or a hyperspace skipper. And at the top end, you got like you're a lore master. That's the one to be. Twerk more? No. Fuck, I just ashed it all over my keyboard. But yes, thank you, everyone. Just everyone. I appreciate all you guys and the support that you give, and the fact that you're always here. Make them all SG1 related. Oh, yeah. What do you smoke? Winnie Blues, man. I went off the Winnie Blues for a while because they're so expensive. And it's not like they're not so expensive anymore. It's just the cigarettes that I was smoking, Bond Street, they started tasting really weird. Tasting really fucking weird. So I'm like, nah, no more. But I do need to quit smoking. When I went to the doctor and he diagnosed me with bronchitis, he's like, you need to stop smoking. I'm like, yeah. So I've cut down. That's always the saying, isn't it? I've cut down. But no, I do need to stop. And eventually I will. All right. Oh, man. I said we got one more cringe thing to watch, but like it just, the cringe for Star Wars just seems to go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But anyway, let's do this. Just smoke whenever Star Wars does something good. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Yes, I've heard that too. I started vaping. Yes, vapes. I started vaping when vapes sort of first hit the scene, and for me, it wasn't the same because it's not the same. And I just didn't like it. I think I stopped smoking cigarettes for like 2 weeks, and I was just smoking the vape, and it didn't do the same thing. Yeah, that's right. If I got to wait until Star Wars is good, I'll never smoke again. Ever. All right. Let's check this out. So there was... Let me just bring it up. Tamara Morrison and Daniel Logan do the haka at the recent Osaka Comic-Con in Japan. Do you guys see this? I know why he did it. I know he's Maori. And I know the haka is a big thing for the New Zealanders, for the Kiwis. But doing this at a Japan Comic-Con, all those people on stage, and it's just those two doing it, I don't know. To me, it just came across cringy. Like a bantha. That's right. He did the haka like a bantha. He's got such, he emotes so much with his face, Tamara Morrison. Now I want to play it again without the sound. And I want you to pay no attention to Tamara or Daniel. I want you to pay attention to the people behind. Like, the guy there is Anakin, like, just nodding his head along. These people over here. They're like, what the fuck? The thing for me is, like, the haka's got nothing to do with Star Wars or anything, you know. Ugh. I agree. Big time. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was another cringy, pathetic thing. Which it is. I've always liked the haka. You know, it's better when it's done like when there's actually some meaning behind it. Like, you know, before the Aussies play the Kiwis in rugby or something, they'll do the haka, and it's like, man, there's been times where I've watched this give me goosebumps watching it. But yeah, something like this. I don't know. Ever seen Once We Were Warriors? Yes, I have. Fucking crazy movie, that. If you haven't watched Once We Were Warriors, prepare yourself, but watch it. Prepare yourself, but watch it. Didn't the Tuscans who kidnapped and enslaved Boba do a traditional Maori dance during one of the episodes? No, I don't think that tribal dance thing that they did around the campfire was. Maybe it was, and I just didn't know that. And again, based on the description that they were giving and what that actually was and what the Tuscans actually were, was like Native Americans. You know, those Indian tribes and stuff like that. That's what they were trying to do. Now, maybe it was something to do with like Maori culture, traditional Maori culture, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. See, they promoted it as more like, oh, it's good to finally see some Native American representation in Star Wars. DEI. Check box. Checking those fucking boxes off. Fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Okay. All right, we're gonna take a pause there in regards to what I've got here, and I'm going to talk about the Bad Batch because we didn't get, like I said, we didn't get to talk about it last week. It was the final episode, and it was the final season. So this was the the end of the Bad Batch, basically at the end of the day. And this series, it turns out that it was just a big nothing burger, especially this last season. The third season of the Bad Batch seemed to be Ahsoka breaking out of Mount Tantus, getting herself out of Mount Tantus, catching back up with the Bad Batch. The Empire was hunting Omega because she had, her blood was the good blood. And she ends up back at Mount Tantus. She gets captured, or she gives herself up to save people. She goes back to Tantus. They do more experiments and stuff like this, and then she gets herself out again. That's really the end of it. The thing is, like, the last episode was the longest episode at 50-something minutes long, nearly an hour. And there was plenty of time in there. Did I just say Ahsoka? Did I say Ahsoka? Did I say Ahsoka? If I did, I meant Omega. I'm sorry.
Put a ticket in and make her name it gay!
Just say Kathleen. I said Omega. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, Omega's basically gets herself out of Tantus twice in this season. But like they had plenty of time in this last episode to answer some questions. Now, I think at the end of the day, they kind of did, without giving a full-on explanation, they kind of did give us an answer in regards to who the clone assassins were. They were just clones that they were able to experiment on to take away all their free will, basically, right? They're just good soldiers, follow orders, full on down to a T. And this is stuff that maybe they were, this is the thing. We didn't really even get an explanation to Crosshair's shaky hand, right? Now, I could assume and use headcanon to say, okay, maybe what they were trying to do was make him into one of those clone assassins, but the conditioning didn't work on him. He was able to avoid being turned into one of these clone assassins. Because in this episode, they release all the clone assassins. Now, it looks like these clone assassins are coming out of those things that we saw in episode 2, I think it was, where Palpatine was there inspecting the clones that are inside the chambers or whatever. And it all had to do with Project Necromancer. So I think that the clone assassins thing is a separate thing to the Project Necromancer. But we didn't get any, not even like a small little tease of an explanation or anything into what Project Necromancer is. So we get Project Necromancer talked about in The Mandalorian. I think it was even talked about in Andor with Hux's dad. I think that was in Andor. And then we get it in this. Now, of course, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Hang on. I need to think about this for a sec because there's something that doesn't add up here. Because all the research and everything on Tantus in the Bad Batch gets destroyed, right? So Tarkin then says, all right, move all the resources from this to, because Hemlock gets killed as well, to Project Stardust, so to the Death Star. But in Andor, does Andor take place before or after the Bad Batch? Because they talk about how Hux is working on Project Necromancer. Or Hux's dad, you know, Hux from the sequels. But then in The Mandalorian, Project Necromancer is mentioned. And it seems that Project Necromancer, Moff Gideon was able to give himself Force abilities. He made himself better. I need to look this up. Hold on a second. Hang on. They have. They've done it again. Hold on. What was that? One more. Hold on. So 8 ABY. And that's Mando. Okay. All right. So Bad Batch Season 3 takes place 18 BBY. 18 years before the Battle of Yavin. Project Necromancer is destroyed. All research is gone. All those clones that they were making are gone. And all the funding gets moved to Project Stardust. Then in Andor, which takes place 5 BBY, 13 years after the Bad Batch, Project Stardust is still happening, but what? Project Necromancers started back up again? With maybe a whole new they had to start the research from scratch. They had to start the research from the beginning. And then nobody knows what happens to that unless Project Necromancer was the stuff that went on with Moff Gideon, and then all of that gets destroyed because they fly the ship into the base pretty much at the end of Mando. No. Hold on a second. Oh, man, this is so confusing. This is the other thing, too. Star Wars was never this confusing. There are always questions being asked, but it was never this hard to keep, like, the everything sort of set in their timelines, and it didn't contradict something else. So, no. I don't know what happened between Andor and Mando Season 3. So between Andor and Mando Season 3 is another 13 years. How convenient is that? So from Bad Batch and Project Necromancer being destroyed, 13 years later, Project Necromancer gets mentioned, even though Project Stardust isn't complete. And then 13 years after that, after the Empire has been destroyed and Palpatine isn't dead, 13 years after that, we get more mention of Project Necromancer in The Mandalorian. But then my understanding of what happens to Project Necromancer in that is that gets destroyed again. Disney doesn't give a shit about canon and continuity. They only care about their far left agenda to use Star Wars. Yeah, that's 100%. 100%. They don't care about the canon. They don't care about keeping shit like plodding along nicely, the continuity of it. They don't have a continuity. Yeah, fuck, man. But this is the thing, and I always say this in my videos and stuff like this, is like Disney, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, all those people at Lucasfilm, they don't need to put out any explanations. They don't need to put out any explanations. You know why? Because the Disney Star Wars shills and the SEALs and all of those people out there, the pronoun people, the shippers, they don't care. As long as their character's being shipped, as long as they can do their little fan fiction fucking drawings and, make Sabine and Shin, scissor. That's the most important thing to them right now. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. Where are we in the timeline, and how does that actually add up, and how does that make sense with other stuff that we've seen? It doesn't. Now, okay, you could argue that it was that important to Palpatine that he made Project Necromancer get started back up again. If it means trying to get to a point where he can have eternal life and basically be immortal, that wouldn't surprise me if they were to start Project Necromancer back up again. But it's interesting to me that Tarkin says, let's take all the funding away from Project Necromancer, put it to Project Stardust, and Project Stardust isn't even finished, but then we get another mention of Project Necromancer being started back up again. And then what? During the entirety of the sequels, there's no attachment. In the OT, there's no attachment to Project Necromancer until 8 years after that, then we get more mention of Project Necromancer again. And this is the thing. It is all there to retroactively explain the sequels, right? How Palpatine was able to return. What Snoke was. Timeline. What is that? Dave Filoni, yeah. Did Palpatine approve the transfer of funds? Well, no. I don't think so. I don't think so. But again, nothing is explained properly. It's just Tarkin saying, okay. Because you got to remember, Hemlock said to Tarkin that this is very important to the Emperor. Very important to Palpatine. Yep, no understanding of Stardust and Necromancer. They are just words, yeah. They are just words. But again, like I was sort of saying, in an hour-long final episode, to not, like, they keep opening up the mystery box, right? They keep opening up this whole thing about Project Necromancer. All we are hearing is words. All we're hearing is words. But to me, I feel like, you know, Dave Filoni and all these, the writing group at Lucasfilm and everything haven't even planned it out. They're just going, okay, we'll try this and we'll see if we can turn that into something. Instead of actually going, okay, so what is Project Necromancer? Let's get the answer of what it is first, right? And then let's try and, you know, work back from there to get us to the point where that's what it is. They don't do that. Doesn't seem like they do that. You know, and it's sort of like, you know, tracking fobs and things like that, right? Like they don't go, okay, what is the tracking fob? How does it work? And then work backwards from there and see how they can use that new technology that they've created within the lore to get us to a point where the audience have an understanding of what that thing is and what that thing does. I'm not saying that you've got to release, mention Project Necromancer and then straight off the bat explain exactly what it is from the word go. No. But you've got to, you as the creator, Dave Filoni, need to understand what it is and where we're heading. And maybe he does have some sort of understanding of that, but he's not giving the audience anything. We've had 3 different series now reference Project Necromancer, and what do we know about it? What do we know about it? We know that it's called Project Necromancer, and we know that it's got something to do with midichlorians and blood transfusion into clones to try and get them force sensitive. You know, it was done way better in The Heir to the Empire. Because Thrawn figured out that you needed to use the Ysalamiri, however you want to pronounce it. And you've got to basically have those around the chambers to be able to do that. At least that's my understanding of it. Am I wrong, Alora? But it was explained. It wasn't just, like I said, like I've just said then, like that doesn't give you an explanation. That tells you how they did it, but that doesn't explain how that actually works. But it is explained how it actually works and why it's done that way and how that's actually making it work. Did Resistance mention Project Necromancer? No, but I think Hux's dad, I think, was mentioned in Resistance. I only ever watched Resistance once, and it was just like, no. I mean, I've only ever watched really like these shows like Bad Batch and stuff like that. I've only ever really watched them once too. Zahn knows how to write a smart character. Filoni, I don't know. Well, Filoni doesn't, because the way Filoni did Thrawn in the Ahsoka series, the way Filoni did Thrawn in this in the Tales of the Empire, he is nothing like the Thrawn that Zahn created. But Zahn's a sellout too. And the funny thing is that Timothy Zahn had to make Thrawn more retarded than he ever did, so that we could line it up with the Rebels animated series. Resistance was fucking horrible. It was. Yeah. Zahn under Lucas wrote smarter stories. 100%. 100%. God, it is fucking sad, isn't it? It is fucking sad. But yeah, I can't believe that. I can't believe that from the first time we hear, like in the timeline, the first time that we hear Project Necromancer, we go 13 years of no mentioning of Project Necromancer, and then we get a small mention of Project Necromancer, and then another 13 years goes by, and then Moff Gideon is doing Project Necromancer now, turning himself Force sensitive, and then that gets destroyed. Was Project Necromancer ever successful? I mean, based on the fact that we're all assuming that Project Necromancer has something to do with Palpatine's return in the sequels, yes, it was eventually successful. But fuck, let me check one more thing actually. Rise. Not Slywalker. Skywalker. Slywalker, it's like Stallone. Is this them trying to not make it the BBY and ABY thing? All it says, every other thing that I put in there said like, what was it? 5 BBY, 18 BBY, 8 ABY. You put in Rise of Skywalker timeline and it says around a year after the events of The Last Jedi. Give it to me in ABY or BBY, you fucks. Okay, so let's look up. Hold on. Oh, you fucking idiot. No. Oh my God. Why can't I find it in that fucking... This blows my mind. Fuck, it's about time. Jesus Christ. That shouldn't be that hard to find. So then the only one that I can find is The Force Awakens. It's set 34 years ABY. So The Last Jedi leads off from that. So The Last Jedi must be 34 years. So that means that the Rise of Skywalker must be 35 ABY. So 35 ABY. So if we're assuming that Project Necromancer is Palpatine's return, somehow Palpatine returned, right? They want to be clear as mud. Yeah, yeah, that's right. 35 after Baby Yoda. Yeah. Don't fucking put that in my head. ABY after Baby Yoda. Okay, so first time we hear about Project Necromancer is in the Bad Batch, 18 BBY, 18 years before the Battle of Yavin. It gets destroyed. Everything, all the research. 13 years goes by, and apparently Project Necromancer has been started back up in the Andor series 5 years before the Battle of Yavin by Hux's father. Don't know what happens to that. Don't know what happens to that. It's really strange, actually. Because then another 13 years goes by. The Empire has fallen. The New Republic is operating as government. So 8 ABY in The Mandalorian, we get another mention of Project Necromancer, and it gets destroyed again. And then 27 years after that, Palpatine returns under our assumption that it was Project Necromancer that did it. And he's reborn and then dies within the same year. God, they really did destroy fucking Palpatine, didn't they? Like, to think about it, like, Palpatine's reign as Emperor, only lasted roughly, 30 years? Before he is assumed to be dead. And then that obviously does damage to Anakin's story and the Chosen One and all of that sort of thing, and bringing balance back to the Force. Man, such confusion in regards to the timeline here. But again, no explanation. No explanations from the creators of this and what it actually is. So anyway, at the end of the day, the Bad Batch, this all started with talking about the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch was a pointless, you could say entirety, that like all 3 seasons was pretty pointless. It was all to elevate another Mary Sue. Now, I would say that Omega, as a character, got more training, not in the Force, but more training from her brothers, the Bad Batch guys, than Rey ever got from anyone. You know, by the end of the Bad Batch, before we even get the time jump of when she's older, she is like amazing. She's like a better tactician than Thrawn. At the age of what? 13, 14, however old she is, 15. But then we get a massive time jump and she goes off to fight in the rebellion. So what's the bet that, you know, Omega fought in the Battle of Yavin? Or Omega fought in the Battle of Endor? Actually.
chicken it and make her name it gay.
That's what it is, and that's all Star Wars is right now. Huh. I doubt it. They're not going to have fucking a male character killing off a female character like that. Anyway, that's the Bad Batch. It was completely pointless. It was boring. And it was for want of a better way of saying it, it was a circular story. We started at a point. We went around the long way around to get back to the same point, and then it sort of started again, and then it ended. There was no point to it whatsoever. Nothing. And speaking of no point to anything whatsoever, of course, on May the 4th again, we get a poster for the Acolyte. I'm confused here. You see the chick here with the braids, right? The black chick that was apparently like one of the leads, maybe possibly the Acolyte or something. Isn't that her as well? Just with the hood up. Like you can almost see the braids there. She's wearing a mask. Then you got this assassin Sith thing, which we're going to talk about shortly. Trinity. Miyagi. So we got Space Miyagi, which is we're going to call him Space Miyagi, and we're going to call him Jedi Miyagi. And then you've got X-23. You got these witches or whatever they are. I'm going to do a poster review here. G'day, Christopher Barker. So they released this poster, and then they also released another official trailer. Now we're going to get rid of this. Actually, we'll just keep it there for the moment. This was the first trailer. So this was the one that was released a month ago, 10 million views. We're now at 700,000 dislikes to 193,000 likes. Massive ratio on that first trailer. And then this is the trailer that they released on May the 4th, 5 days ago. We're up to 5.9 million views. We got 68 upvotes to 137 down. Now, this is the other thing too that I want to point out is just even that view count. 10 million views compared to, let's say, 6 million views. So it's 4 million views less. Now, I will say, obviously, there's a difference in the time. You're talking a month ago compared to 5 days ago. But even the interaction that's on this trailer, I mean, it's ratioed, but the upvotes are nowhere near what the upvotes were on this. And you would think if these shills out there are like, oh, we're going to fight for this great Star Wars that's coming, that they would have jumped straight on this and bang, 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 bang. You would have seen 193,000 upvotes on this trailer in no time. In no time. But then even the downvotes, you got 700,000 down. And then on this one, you've got 137,000 down. If you were to do the calculation based on the fact that you got 6 million views compared to 10 million views, this should probably be somewhere around maybe 400,000 dislikes. But the people that disliked maybe that first one are so checked out that they don't even care about bothering to check this second official trailer. And it's still got ratioed. Yeah, close your eyes. I can't. Still kills me. Yeah, 100% it's dead on arrival. 100%. Yeah, everybody loves the close your eyes and the alien that can't. But yeah, so this is a disaster. This is a disaster. And it's funny that Leslie Headland, you know, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, the one that's heading up this project, directing it, you know, she's come out and said there's going to be non-binary character. It's going to reflect my queer past. And, you know, it's great to be able to have women in Star Wars. Like, it's all of that shit. And it's funny that this is coming after what we just saw in the Tales of the Empire, and we will get to that. Well, let's watch this trailer, shall we?
Last night.
It's just a damn trailer, Rhino. I understand that, Christopher. I get that it's just a trailer, man. But Disney Star Wars has never, ever been ratioed. Trailer or not. Then you've got 2 Acolyte trailers that have been ratioed. You've got the Outlaws trailer that's been ratioed. Star Wars is on a massive decline, man. Massive decline. And I'm surprised it took this long for the decline to come. But even the Rise of Skywalker trailer wasn't ratioed. Even with the bad taste in everybody's mouth before we got the Obi-Wan Kenobi show with the rematch of the century and everything, wasn't ratioed. Boba Fett, a pointless series that people were like, nobody's really asking for this, didn't get ratioed. Andor, a character, basically a bit of an origin story about a character that nobody really cares about because the character's dead, didn't get ratioed. It's telling us something, Christopher. It is. Who's this? Grant. Sending me fucking... Stop it. What do you mean? What are you doing, Grant? Playing Hull Divers. I'm in the middle of a fucking stream. So, look, I understand what you're saying, Christopher. But it might just be a trailer. But this is telling us something. It really is. And look, you guys got no idea. I appreciate Christopher because me and him don't always see eye to eye. I've said this before. We don't always see eye to eye on things when it comes to Star Wars. But he respectfully comes in here and he gives me shit. I can give him shit back and he still comes back and we still can have that dialogue. Dude, we'll get to that. And yeah, I did because it's actually really, really dumb. Like, really dumb. Anyway, let's continue.
A Jedi was murdered.
The Jedi just...
I gotta say, like, that there looks so bad. First of all, I did mention this in my trailer reaction to this particular trailer. Like, this is on Coruscant. Like, it looks dead. Coruscant looks dead. You know, anytime we ever saw Coruscant in the prequels, it was always looking alive. Where's the traffic? Where's the movement?
The Jedi.
Then also this here. Like, watch how out of sequence, out of time these guys are. Like that guy at the back there, this guy here, he didn't even finish his movement before they cut it.
Justify their galactic dominance in the name of peace.
But that peace is a lie.
You know, they got to do the peace is a lie thing. Actually, I want to listen to the voice again, just quickly.
Peace is a lie.
Oh, it's two people. Throwing knives. Throwing knives, and she blocks the throwing knives with her lightsaber. RIP Star Wars for his 5-month member chat says, where are the cars and buildings? Well, it's not really the buildings that bothers me. I get what you're saying about the buildings, but it's more that traffic, the cars, the speeders and things like that. Where are they? There's none of that. None of it.
Jedi are being hunted.
What is that? A weird fucking jaw. Or is that a beard? She loves her throwing knives. She's got her throwing knives.
She was my student. I trained her. Let me be the one.
Now, this is the question that I want to ask. Is she the acolyte? Am I supposed to say she? Is them the acolyte? Is that what I'm supposed to say? Or is the acolyte that thing that we see at the end?
The one to bring her in.
And that looks stupid. The kick, like he's ducking out the way of a kick that's nowhere even near him.
I sense this is only a small part of a larger plan. Some sort of shift.
Arc 2, there's your connection.
To tip the scales. It's time to face the past. Destiny is not decided for you by an anonymous force. If you want to pull the thread and change everything, then pull it.
Before we get to this, see, the one thing that I've been getting from both of these trailers is that the Jedi are misunderstood as good people, whereas they're not apparently that good people. Like it's the whole thing about like the good and evil and stuff like that. It's
What are you?
all right, that's enough. What are you? What are you? What are you? This is going to be a disaster. Then they're going to break so much canon and continuity with this series. So much. And I saw a short that somebody put out there saying, "Oh, the Acolyte is going to fix one of George Lucas's biggest problems from the prequels. How Ki-Adi-Mundi says the Sith have been extinct for a millennia. Well, how does Yoda know that there's only two of them, a master and an apprentice? How does he know about the rule of two if they've been extinct for a millennia?" You do realize, right, that fucking in the Jedi archives, they do have like Sith holocrons and they've got like, they've heard about the prophecy, and how could if the Sith has been extinct, then how can Anakin be? How can the prophecy even be a thing? Like, what would he be bringing balance to the Force for if the Force is already balanced because the Jedi are extinct? It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. What are you? What are you? RIP Star Wars says, I don't understand why Disney can't film in the dark properly. I agree, man. And there's been a lot, man. Even the Bad Batch was pretty dark, hard to watch, hard to see. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm with you. It's too hard to actually see what I'm looking at. 100%. Thanks for the $5. Appreciate that. And then RIP Star Wars with another $2 says, no one's going to watch this except for me. There are going to be people that watch it. Like the shills and the seals will watch it. I think there's a lot of people that more and more are being pushed away. Thank you for that $2 as well. Isn't Yoda 900 years old? Yes, he is. So you got to expect him to be in this. And if he's not, that's a problem. And if he is, I reckon that's going to be a problem because they're going to fuck him up. But also, too, like Plagueis, or at least Darth Tenebris should be a thing in this. If that's if we're talking about the Sith. Grant, fuck off. Stop sending me invites. Well, that's a great question too. That last bit of this, have the Jedi ever fought the Sith Empire in Disney canon? It's a great question. I don't think so. They decanonized the entire EU, but then they decide to pluck stuff from it. So there's a chance that it still is, but then they might change it up. But who knows, Christopher? I mean, this is where the problem lies, right? Who knows what is canon anymore and what's not canon? They say that it's not canon, but then they bring it in and it ends up being canon again. But then they change it from what it actually was. It's like if they did Revan, I'd be like, oh my God. That'd be scary to think what they'd do to Revan. It really would be. Yeah. Anyway, that's that trailer. Looks horrible. And then obviously, now there's been a couple of things with this, right? So Brody1 Kenobi says, do you think the mystery acolyte, and this is why I'm asking the question too, is this character the acolyte or is that black chick the acolyte? I don't know. I mean, I guess they don't need to tell us in the trailer. They can tell us in the thing, but fuck. Female Revan, all stunning and brave. Oof. Oh, the thought of that scares me. So do you think the mystery acolyte has any tie to the Knights of Ren? Funny thing is, in this picture, you've got a picture of Kylo Ren, and then obviously the acolyte on the left, you at least get a picture of one of the knights, not Kylo. But fuck, man. If they've got anything to do with the Knights of Ren, that means that we see a Knights of Ren 100 years before the Phantom Menace, and then we don't see another Knight of Ren for approximately 160 years. Yes, that's true, right? But even in the Darth Bane novel, right, they do a really good job of explaining, how they're going to let rumors fly around that like people have come across Sith here and there and everything, but it's all constantly dismissed because it seems that the person either wants something out of it. The way that they explain how they hide themselves, and especially when it comes to Plagueis and hiding themselves in plain sight, it's explained really, really well. So for Mundi to think that they've been extinct for that long, I don't see it. He was wrong. 100% he was wrong. But you can see why they would think that they've been extinct for that long, and as long as they have been. The Knights of what now? The Knights of Ren from the sequels that did nothing. Absolutely nothing. They were pointless fucking things. Thank you, Mike, for your 29-month member chat. Dude, that's a long fucking time. In Disney Star Wars, reputation will probably be a nobody. You mean this character is going to be another fart in the wind like they did in the Ahsoka series? You're probably right, actually. It'd be a nobody. So this is the thing, though, that I want to actually talk about with this. Thank you again, Mike. Man, member for such a long time. Appreciate you. And you help me out with these streams so much with everything that you send me. So I would say based on what I'm seeing on the screen, there's probably more of a chance of there being some sort of connection to the Knights of Ren than it being the other prediction that people are saying. Do you know what the other prediction that people are saying? I'll give you a minute. Like, what do you think the Disney SEALs and the Disney shills, who do you think that they think that this is? A lot of them too. Did they even explain the fart in the wind character? No, they didn't. No, they didn't. The only thing that I can think is because of the color of the fart that comes out of him after he gets sliced, he was just a Night Sister magic person. Mike Hill has it. Mike Hill has it. And Seto as well. Dumbasses think it's Plagueis. Yeah, they do. They do. Do you know why you know that this isn't Plagueis? And do you also know why this isn't Tenebrous? Because Tenebrous' species, his head wouldn't fit in that helmet, first of all. And it's actually the same with Plagueis. Plagueis' head wouldn't fit inside that helmet. It does not have a round face like a normal human face, normal human head. Plagueis has a long head because he's immune. Not immune. He is a mune. From Munilisk. He is long. He is tall. 7 feet. He is lanky. And he has a long head. But if you remember, this is where Disney will Disney. It's the best way that I can say it. The Grand Inquisitor is also immune. And we went from him in the animated stuff having a long head to in live action having the roundest face I think I've ever seen. He has a moon face. Let me bring that up. Perfect. Which picture can I use? Actually, that's perfect because it's got a side by side. This is what the Grand Inquisitor looked like in the animated series, and this is what the Grand Inquisitor looked like in live action. Very different, isn't it? But this is Disney's canon, right? Long head to round-faced. Looks nothing like the Grand Inquisitor in live action. So, I guess maybe it is Plagueis. And they just decided to make Munes look like human. Look like humans. Have I got this wrong? Do I really? Man, I apologize. I'll cop that on the chin. If I'm completely wrong there, let me just bring this up really quickly. Sorry, I didn't know that. I thought he was immune. How's it spelled? My mistake. You are correct. I didn't doubt you, but wow. How did I have that so wrong? But even still, it's like you said, they've still got long faces. So do Munes. Let's look up. In fact, a Mune has a longer head, if anything. Look at that thing. Oh, that's too small of a picture. And they're tall and lanky. There's Plagueis there. So to me, this is basically my point. Let me make my point. Is that the people, the Star Wars fans that think that this is Plagueis or that is hoping that this is Plagueis have no idea who Plagueis is. Fake Star Wars fan. Completely fake. Maybe they've been a fan for like 2 years. 5 years. I've just seen this. What? Somebody actually thinks that Snoke is a hybrid between Plagueis and Palpatine. Makes Snoke. Look at their heads, man. Not one Yoon has like a round face. Long fingers, long arms, really tall, long ass head. And these people think that this, I don't know why I stopped sharing my screen then. I could have just changed the tab. This is Plagueis. Fake Star Wars fan. They really hate canon. Yeah, they do. It's actually Chewbacca, you idiot. Clearly. Oh, yeah. Does the canon even really matter at this point, Rhino? I mean, it's beyond broken these days. Well, that is very true. So, in a way, no, it doesn't. It doesn't because it's already broken. You're right. So, breaking it more doesn't really do anything. True? Well, it does. But it's so broken that it's like, well, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken. Why not break this? 100% Christopher. See, there are, don't get me wrong, even what I was saying before in regards to Chris. Chris has been around a long time, and I appreciate him so much. Keeps me on my toes too, which is always good. But, you know, we agree on a lot of stuff. But then we do have our disagreements. We do. What was the other character they messed up in Kenobi? What's the character they didn't mess up in Kenobi? They messed up Vader. They messed up Kenobi. They messed up Reva. They messed up Leia. They messed up Luke. They messed up the connection between Obi-Wan and Luke and the connection between Leia and Obi-Wan. What character didn't they mess up in Kenobi? Uncle Owen? They messed up Uncle Owen? What damage didn't they do is more the question. What character actually stayed intact? Oh, how can I miss this one? Bail Organa. They messed up in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan, I know that we said that we shouldn't communicate. But your silence worries me. If you've been captured, I will go to Tatooine and look after the boy. If Obi-Wan's been captured, that means the Empire has that communication device, would see that message themselves. They made Bail Organa retarded. Dumb as dog shit. That's actually my biggest pet peeve in that entire series is what they did to Bail Organa. Qui-Gon too. 100% Simon. Thank you. They made Qui-Gon actually be able to appear. My headcanon tells me that he completed the training after he died, so he is able to project himself. Oh, he projected himself in the Clone Wars. Oh, on a planet where he actually explains that this planet can amplify his abilities. Oh, man. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series is... It's hard to say between The Last Jedi and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show what is the most destructive. It is actually hard to say. I was going to say that The Last Jedi is the most destructive, followed very closely very closely by Obi-Wan Kenobi. But you could flip him and it'd be exactly the same fucking thing. But there was a cool battle with Vader. Honestly, Mr. Venom, I hope you're trolling. I hope you're trolling with that comment. Oh, they cucked Vader so bad. They made him so dumb and so stupid. Good. Good. Fuck. I thought, honestly, I did think you were, but man, fuck. Okay, Star Wars screen. How you doing? God. Lisa Roberts, I see you. It has to be a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. Oh, man. So anyway, that was The Acolyte. They released a second trailer on May the 4th, and it fucking bombed. And the entire series is going to bomb. Entire series is going to bomb. And on that note, we're going to watch a video. We're just going to sit back and enjoy. Oh my God. All right, here we go. Good old Grizzy. If you're not subscribed to Grizzy, please go and give him a sub. He has well surpassed me now. Congratulations, Grizzy, on the 20,000 subscribers. Well deserved and great job. We're going to give that a like straight off the bat. So, Disney Star Wars NPCs attack fans for disliking the Ahsoka trailer. Here we go. 5-minute video. And we're watching this now. Normally we watch this in between Seal of the Week, right? But as you can see with my tabs, we've got this video to watch. We've got this video to watch. And then for the video that we're going to watch while we're doing the Seal of the Week, we're going to watch the video that Mike Hill sent me in regards to how do tracking fobs in The Mandalorian work. All right, here we go. Grizzy, fucking legend. Let's go.
It's finally happening. It took 2 trailers getting ratioed to hell for Star Wars The Acolyte, but it's finally happening. Finally! The Disney Star Wars NPC shills have finally come out and acknowledged that no one is excited for The Acolyte except for them. And they are not happy about it.
The Acolyte has already managed to cause a lot of controversy within the fandom, mostly because people are butthurt over diversity. It's cultural war stuff.
Okay, hold on. Before we continue, this was a disaster before we even got the first trailer. With Leslie Headland, they are triggered. They are triggered hardcore, right? But with Leslie Headland being announced as the person that's doing it, you know, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? Oh, I don't have a favorite. I just like all the Star Wars. I like all the Star Wars. I just want to live in that universe in perpetuity forever. Star Wars. Please, Queen Kathleen Kennedy, give me a job, please. This is going to represent my queerness. Oh, we're going to have non-binary and dickhead characters. Oh, we're going to destroy the canon. We're going to go 100 years into the past and tell you the story of the Sith. Fucking this had problems before we got the first trailer.
Jeff, everybody who is hating on the show can go suck an egg.
Whoa! Yeah, exactly.
I really don't get this fandom sometimes. I've just seen some really bad takes that are just veiled attempts at people masking why they want to be mad at this show before they've ever even seen it.
Like what?
Oh, hang on. Let's see what Grizzy has to say there.
They want to be mad at this show before they've ever even seen it.
Like what? What bad takes have you seen from people criticizing The Acolyte? Unsurprisingly, of course, he doesn't say, just keeps hammering the just give it a chance argument.
Yeah.
No one's seen the show, and like people are like, that's what irritates me. If it comes out and there's a valid critique.
Yes, no one's seen the show, but the way they're advertising the show, the way that Lucasfilm is talking about the show, we can take enough from that to judge. And on top of that, all the shit that we've actually had come out of Lucasfilm, the way they've promoted it, the way that they've done the storytelling. I mean, look at Reva as a character. That was diversity thrown in for no reason, where she's actually got no character development. She's got no story. Her motivations don't make any sense. And what? We're supposed to give Leslie Headland faith, right? Our faith that she's going to tell a good Star Wars story when all she can do is promote this by saying it's going to represent my queerness. Like, honestly, dude, honestly, man, we don't need to see this to know that it's going to be absolute garbage, an absolute dumpster fire, an absolute disaster. God, these people are so dumb. People are so dumb. This fuckwit looks like a fuckwit mid-transition too.
Critiques and criticisms about pacing, acting, performance, production, whatever. That's all fine and dandy.
That has happened over and over and over and over and over and over
Thank you, Grizzy.
over again.
Thank you, Grizzy.
At what point is it acceptable to you for fans to say, you know what?
At what point are we supposed to say, oh, I'll give him another chance. I'll give him another chance. I'll give him another chance.
I don't think Disney Star Wars has earned the benefit of the doubt anymore.
I don't think so either.
And after all this dog shit, I don't have faith anymore. Apparently, we're still not there yet, according to this guy.
God, the fact that it had like one of the most disliked Star Wars trailers or maybe even videos period on YouTube is insane to me.
Because you don't listen to what the other side has to say.
Yeah.
None of these people do.
They're just racist. We're just racist, sexist, misogynists that don't actually talk about why somebody like Reva doesn't have a story in this universe. Doesn't have any character development in this universe. Her motivations are absolutely retarded in this universe. It's got nothing to do with her skin color. Yeah, the bitch can't act. The bitch can't act for shit, right? All she does is scream and yell because that's acting now. Just ask Disparu. But fuck, they don't listen. But they also don't ask any questions either of the people that are creating it. They sit there and literally consume, clap their hands, and then wait to consume the next product. This is these people. Disney caps on, seal clapping their way through garbage.
On the show can go suck an egg. They can go talk to their grandma about it. Like, I don't care what you think if you're on the other side of that conversation.
First of all, those were two of the most soy-induced insults I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
Second, these guys are scared to have...
Here, let me insult you back. You are a bitch-ass faggot that knows nothing about nothing. And you will sit there and clap your hands like a fucking Disney shill, Disney seal, and you will just give them the benefit of the doubt every time without ever asking any fucking questions. That's how you insult someone, you fucking fag retard.
Have a conversation because they know deep down that we are correct. That's why they lie and plug us into the categories and say that we just hate Disney and hate Disney Star Wars for no reason. Therefore, we're not worth having a conversation with.
But I think if you're just going to poo-poo on the whole thing and say, well,
poo-poo.
everything that...
Oh, poo-poo, there's another soy fucking...
been made after the prequel trilogy is garbage, then it's really hard to have an honest conversation with you about Star Wars.
You can't have
It's
an honest
impossible.
conversation. No,
Yeah.
that's impossible.
Jesus Christ. That is one of the easiest conversations in the world to have. You explain why Disney Star Wars is good, and we explain.
Okay, I'm sorry to cut you off there, Grizzy. I have been on streams. I went on a Side Scrollers stream. They had some people there that were positive towards Disney Star Wars, and I was one of the negative ones towards Star Wars. As soon as I asked them the question about, let's say, tracking fobs or something like, they've got no answers. I'm having an honest conversation. How does this stuff work? When are the people creating this fucking garbage Star Wars actually going to explain how these things actually work? You know what they then start to do? They then start to use their retarded headcanon to try and give me an explanation of how it works. And that's not how it works. That's not how you fucking tell a story. The creators of the canon are supposed to fill in the blanks and fill in the lore and give you the explanations. Well, maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe you're right. But until the creator actually comes out and confirms that that's what it actually is, then we have no fucking idea, do we? Headcanon is pathetic. It fucking is.
Explain why Disney Star Wars and why Disney's easiest conversations in the world to have. You explain why Disney Star Wars is good, and we explain why Disney Star Wars sucks. But for whatever reason, the soy boys, they don't want to have that conversation.
I'm excited for it. So whatever.
This is gonna be
Fuck
fun.
everyone else.
What a cunt.
Moving on now.
The Acolytes has already managed to cause a lot of controversy within the fandom, mostly because people are butthurt over diversity.
You know, Simon, if what your Twitter bio says is accurate, I think the only person that's constantly butthurt is you.
I love that. Like, ex-fat guy.
Is you.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
A lot of people seem to think that this show trying to excel at, its lightsaber fights, found some offense in that.
You're being purposefully vague here, Simon.
Yep.
People were laughing at the idea of the Acolyte topping the Darth Maul fight from the Phantom Menace.
Correct.
Not for saying they want to deliver a good lightsaber fight. Something that Disney has never done, by the way.
Yep.
I don't know why there's a lot of what I feel like excess hate towards getting just a glimpse of what it looks like. I don't think it looks bad yet.
I don't know, man. It's cultural war stuff. I'm not gonna let it affect my viewing.
Translation, we're going to ignore all the negative, just focus on the positive, enjoy it for what it is, and just hide from the real world in our little safe space.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I know what I'm saying is I might have to just because it's ruined a lot of stuff for me. I might have to just shut my phone off for the run.
What a bitch.
There's that line again. I want to play it for you again.
Just because it's ruined a lot of stuff for me. I might have to just shut my phone off for the.
So what? The people that criticize Disney Star Wars and say that it's bad and give the reasons why it's bad, does this?
I might have to just be
space.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I know what I'm saying is I might have to just because it's ruined a lot of stuff for me. I might have to just shut.
Why has it ruined a lot of stuff for you? Why? I keep saying this. Why does my criticism of a show that you think is really good destroy your enjoyment of it? Could it have something to do with the fact that I'm right? Because I'm actually laying out the facts of what we've actually seen, the lore of what we actually know? Is that why you get butthurt? Is that why it destroys your enjoyment of it? Is that why you've got to shut off your social media and ignore it? Interesting, isn't it? If you think it's so damn good, we should be able to have a conversation and you should be able to justify why it's as good as you think that it is. But then I come out and I give it criticism and I say why I think it's shit and give my reasons why it's shit, and that destroys your enjoyment of it. Interesting, isn't it? How your explanation can't turn me from hating it to liking it, but my criticism of it can turn you from liking it to, that jaded me. Why? Why? Is it because I'm right? Is it because Melvin's right? Is it because Grizzy's right? Is it because Nerdrotic's right? Is it because Jeremy, Geeks and Gamers, is right? Is it because Tim, I keep wanting to say open airlock policy. Tim, USA is United Spaces. Is it because he's right? Greg, Tuscan Bob, is it because he's right? Is it because when we give our criticisms, you've got nothing to counteract that criticism other than calling people, oh, you poo-pooed on my enjoyment? It's an interesting thought, isn't it?
Shut my phone off for the run.
What a bitch. You know, Eric, if what people are saying in criticism of Disney Star Wars is ruining it for you,
here we go,
then maybe there's some truth to what they're saying.
Yep.
Like everything that I'm seeing
Like
here is
Grizzy?
like my favorite parts of Star Wars. So
Sure, you're
like,
gonna see Jedi more in their like
so
prime.
I just cannot even allow the opportunity.
Jedi more in their prime. We saw that in the fucking prequels, man. Fuck, I can't wait. I can't wait.
For that bullshit to touch me.
Because you know that you can't defend it. All of these Disney shills who appeared in this video know deep, deep down that they can't defend Disney Star Wars. And that's why they're doing what Disney themselves and their friends in the media do, which is attack the fans for not liking it.
Hey, if you remember with the... Oh, hang on.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you check...
Thanks for watching, and make sure you go check out his channel. If you remember, the criticism towards the fans, they preemptively gave Reva, what's her name? Moses Ingram. Oh, you're going to deal with some racist fans. They had it lined up, ready to go. Thank you, Grizzy. Great video. As per usual. And there's the link. That will take you to that video. Smash the like button on it. Give him some view time, watch time on that video, and smash the like button. I mean, subscribe. All right. Let's just watch this. Now, I know that the Lego stuff that they do, the Lego shows and everything that they do, they never follow, like it's not canon, and it never really follows any canon and stuff like that. There's always these silly jokes and things in there, and I'm totally fine with that, right? But here we go. So on the 7th of May, Star Wars released this. History will be rebuilt. Now, obviously, they're talking about Lego, building Lego, that sort of thing. But there's an underlying thing there. History will be rebuilt. Interesting, isn't it? Star Wars history will be rebuilt. Watch the new teaser trailer for Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. This is something I won't be watching and reviewing or doing anything on because I don't watch these. But we'll watch the teaser trailer. Here we go.
Space. Time. It's falling apart. The building blocks of the galaxy are getting mixed up.
What multiverse? They're multiversing the Star Wars galaxy in the Lego stuff.
This doesn't make any sense. sense. Worlds will change. People will change in ways we cannot possibly imagine.
I don't love that.
This is wild. X-Wing TIE fighters? Ewok bounty hunters?
Lisa going to hurt you, sir.
Oh shit! Excuse me. Oh my god, they did Darth Jar Jar. Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Oh wow.
Darth Jar Jar?
Oh wow. I might have to watch it just for that. Oh, that's too funny. Oh. All right. Look, to me, something like this is it's funny. I don't have a problem with it. It's just Disney. Like, I will say, I do think that there's an underlying like subliminal message to the history being rebuilt. Like I said, though, like the Lego Star Wars stuff isn't canon. I think a lot of the Lego shows, like Lego Batman and all of those sorts of things, they're not canonical or, you know, a part of the actual lore or anything like that. You know, it's not like they're going to actually like change Hoth into some like Mustafar and put them on Mustafar, or, you know, the Ewok bounty hunters and stuff that they talk about and everything, and the TIE fighters, the X-Wing TIE fighters and stuff like that. It's not going to be a real thing. This is hilarious, though. This is hilarious. Oh, Darth Jar Jar. They actually did it. Are we one like away from 65? You guys are the best. You guys are the fucking best. We are. It says 2 for me. We got a downvote. We got 1 down. Christopher, was that you? No, I don't think so. I was telling me I got 63 up. But that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Darth Jar Jar, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome. All right, so that was just something that they released. That's no problem. Not a problem. Actually, we're going to skip over Tales of the Jedi for a second and just bring this up, being that it is related. And I may as well do that straight after, and then we'll go into Tales of the Empire. All right, I am getting sick and tired. So sick and tired of this fucking bullshit narrative. IGN, Liam Neeson, Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor, and the rest of the Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace cast, love Ahmed Best's Jar Jar Binks voice, loves Jar Jar Binks' voice, despite it not going down well with fans. Okay. I think I've said this before. Personally, I never had a problem with Jar Jar. Yeah, he was stupid. It was, you know, he was a bit of a pointless character in the end. He is the one that gives Palpatine the power that he needs because Padme's away or whatever. But I never really had a problem with it. And and not going down well with fans. I'm sure there were fans out there that it didn't go down well with. But to think like this is another narrative or another point where they're pushing the narrative of like Ahmed Best being fucking, grilled by the fans and all of that sort of thing. You got to remember that when the prequels came out, social media wasn't a thing. I have no doubt there might have been some people in forums or something like that where they're talking and, there were probably some people in there that didn't like it. In fact, I know that there's people that didn't like it. But even Ahmed Best has said that it was the media, it was the critics, the movie critics. And now with the way social media has become, like everybody's a movie critic now. I'm a movie critic. You guys in the chat, you're movie critics, right? Or show critics, whatever. And yeah, we give our criticisms and all of that sort of thing. But I hate the fact that they continue pushing this narrative that, there was some big problem with the Star Wars fans back then. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit noise to justify their bullshit storytelling and their bullshit Star Wars. That's what this is. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that they're still pushing that same narrative. It was the same thing with Jake Lloyd, right? And recently we had that situation with Jake Lloyd where his mum came out and said, no, it wasn't them. Like, Jake's got problems. Jake's got issues. And where he copped a lot of his criticism that didn't really help him was at school. Who didn't get fucking picked on at school? I'm sure there are people out there that didn't. They were the bullies. But I know I got picked on at school. You got picked on. Had nothing to do with the Star Wars fandom. If anything, it had something to do with the fucking weird-ass critics out there. And that's really it. So, and they brought Ahmed Best back to save Grogu out of the temple. So very important. All right, we're getting to the end. Been going, 2 hours, nearly 2 hours, 40 minutes. Cool. All right. So, let me bring this up. Star Wars Facts put this tweet out and said, Dave Filoni on where Luke Skywalker's lightsaber skills level was in The Mandalorian. Now, I'm going to say probably the first 25 seconds of this video and the explanation that Dave Filoni gives, I don't necessarily have a problem with. I think you'll all know, though, when I start to have a problem with what he's saying here.
We had a whole discussion about it would be very easy to just make him so over the top skilled. But I was like, what's interesting is he's had training, but I don't know who's been teaching him sword fight training lately. So he had to have a style that was better than what we saw in Jedi.
Well, I will say the only other thing too is if he had any access to Jedi holocrons, any of the research that he did over time between the time of Return of the Jedi and this, what are we talking? 5 years, right? Something like that. In that 5-year time period, a Jedi holocron could show him the different forms and he could have practiced and practiced and practiced. And that sort of thing. There might have been some Jedi text out there. I mean, we know from The Last Jedi that he had a whole heap of Jedi texts, right? The books and everything that Rey steals. So it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility that he, was slightly self-taught, I guess, in a way. But I understand where he's coming from. He was taught in the ways of the Force, but he wasn't really taught lightsaber combat by Yoda. We don't ever see him doing any lightsaber combat with Yoda or anything like that. So to an extent, I don't really have a problem with what he's saying here. He may, like, he goes on to say he may have had to come up with his own maybe unique style, which, okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, fucking Mace Windu came up with his own style, Varpad, right? Most deadly style, but also teetering on the edge of the dark side. And he was allowed and able to teach some people that. So I don't necessarily have a problem with him having maybe his own unique style. Let's just go back a little bit.
On Jedi, but fundamentally still have the same tree of sword fighting technique. And his technique and Ahsoka's technique should be very different. And technically, she's had vastly more training than he ever has. She's actually his senior, which is, I think, difficult for people to remember because of when these characters were created, right? You know, we had...
Well, it's not when these characters were created. It's when these characters actually took place in the timeline. Do you know where my problem lies with what he's saying here? You know why I think Ahsoka is not his senior? Because Ahsoka wasn't able to bring Vader back from the dark side after multiple times of trying over their time of surviving. Now, Luke didn't really do much. He was just being tortured to death. But it was that love for his son that gave Vader the ability to turn back and then destroy Palpatine. Destroy Palpatine. But he loves propping up Ahsoka. Technically, Ahsoka is his senior. Dave the Cuck Filoni. That's all. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. He's a fucking piece of shit. He's a fucking piece of shit. Okay. All right, let's talk about Tales of the Empire. First of all, Tales of the Empire was crap. It was a pointless origin story for a character that's dead, or at least we assume is dead, killed by Ahsoka in the Ahsoka series with Morgan Elsbeth. It makes me wonder whether or not she's actually dead, because even in this Tales of the Empire, when they kill that when they strike down that non-binary character, gets sliced in the back but doesn't die. Yeah, Tales of the They Them. That's right, Evan. And then obviously with Barriss Offee's backstory, everybody was asking, like, what happened to Barriss? What happened to Barriss? Well, they completely changed what happened to Barriss from the EU to what they've now done with the character. This is just, again, just bastardizing the character. And this is the thing that I hate about them hanging around the same timeline, or the same time period, I should say. You know, if it was a whole new character and you're starting from scratch and this is the way that the character evolves, well, then, yeah, okay. You're not necessarily going to have much of a problem with that. But when you're actually changing, especially a lot of the real Star Wars fans' understanding of these characters, where they were, where they went, their motivations, what they did, all of that sort of thing, that's when I start to really have a problem with it. So I'm just going to share this really quickly. So this was from the Star Wars. This was on May 3rd. For Dathomir. Hashtag The Mandalorian and Ahsoka streaming on Disney Plus. For more of Morgan Elsbeth's journey, watch Tales of the Empire.
ago, my people.
I hate that. To me, it just feels retarded. Ding! Look at the face. Was I close?
People were all but destroyed. My anger gives me strength. You heard our call to you in the dream. Your visions guided me across the stars.
For the Empire. She has done what was required.
My world has been burning. Your path is set, Morgan Elspeth. I will fulfill my destiny. Years ago.
Oh, I didn't want to hear that again. Okay. So again, I don't know how many people out there actually care about the character of Morgan. I don't know how many people again, it's kind of like the same thing with Andor, right? You're telling the backstory or a slight origin story of a character that's dead that nobody really cares about, that nobody asks for. And you could argue, you could certainly argue that Andor is one of the better shows. I still think it's garbage, and I still think it's trash, and I still think it's just got the jangling keys, and I still think that there's a lot of connections to the sequels. And it's about a character that I certainly don't give a fuck about. Why would I care about a character that I know where they end? I know where they die. What's the purpose of it? What's the purpose of telling us this? Showing us this? There's no purpose. So we start off with Grievous killing all the Night Sisters. Morgan gets angry. She gets fearful. And the Rock Witches of Dathomir, I don't know what the fuck they are, they get her, and they seem like, I mentioned this in my video, they seem like the light side of magic, and the Night Sisters seem like the dark side of magic. Certainly how it came across. And then Morgan goes to the planet that she ends up fighting Ahsoka on, goes to the Empire. Apparently there's minerals or natural resources on that planet that can create these certain types of TIE fighters. And the Empire says, no, we're not going to do that, but we're just going to go there and we're just going to take it. So Morgan just gives them the thing. And then it jumps up forward again, and you've got Rook that shows up, you've got Pelion that shows up, and then you've got also Thrawn that shows up. And also, too, in that episode, Thrawn appears out of nowhere. He's not standing there, and then all of a sudden, he's standing there. It's just Disney storytelling. It's Dave Filoni's storytelling of, making conveniences happen just for the sake of making conveniences happen so that the whatever minute little plot that they've got can move forward. Thrawn is the one that gives her the resources to be able to basically imprison this town, imprison the planet. I don't exactly know. And use them as miners to mine the planet for these specific types of TIE fighters. So even after the Empire is gone, she's still there. The New Republic shows up. She kills the people that come from the New Republic. And the funny thing is that, they send a distress signal out. Ahsoka's the one that answers it, of course, because Ahsoka's the one that ends up going there and, arrests Morgan. But the funny thing for me was, like, at the end of the episode, Morgan destroys the communication device when you hear Ahsoka's voice going, I've received your distress call. How can I help you, sort of thing. She destroys that comm device. And she says to one of the locals there that no one is coming. The thing that doesn't make sense in regards to all of that is that it was the New Republic that sent those people to the planet to force Morgan to surrender or give herself up, whatever the case may be. Now, if those if those delegates that the New Republic sent don't return ever because they're dead, they don't hear anything back from them, wouldn't the New Republic send more people to find out what happened? And also, too, if they know that they're heading into a hostile environment to arrest Morgan and free the people of this planet, wouldn't they send more than a senator and, 6 guards and a droid? It's pretty silly when you ask me, or if you ask me. Pretty damn silly. So that's Morgan's story in all of this. Let me just hit this really quickly. From RIP Star Wars for $4.99 says Dave Filoni is the type to think he's George Lucas, but simply fails everything. Well, he certainly does think he's George Lucas. Oh, that was the other thing too that I just wanted to say in regards to the Acolyte really quickly. I'm sorry to go back to this, but Dave Filoni was let's say promoted. I don't think he was promoted. I think he was always that. They just retitled it, and then that's why it got reported that way, as the chief creative officer of Star Wars. And it was said that he was going to be there at the inception phase of all of these things. Now, that announcement essentially didn't come until after the Acolyte had already started moving forward, right? But that's why I think, again, Dave Filoni there was another title that he had when we first heard that he got a promotion. And it was basically the same thing. They just changed the title, and that's when it got reported again that he's the chief creative officer. Anyway, he's involved then in the Acolyte, isn't he? So any destruction that the Acolyte does, we can also put not only blame on Kathleen Kennedy, on Leslie Headland, on anybody, the story group, all of that sort of thing, but we can also put blame on Dave Filoni, right? But yes, he does. He thinks he's the apprentice to George Lucas. Certainly not. Read Courtship of Princess Leia. Okay. I'll check it out. Dave Filoni is no George Lucas. It's true. Anyway, so Morgan's story makes no sense. No one cares. We're telling a backstory. It was all jangling keys. And that's pretty much it. Then it moves into Barriss. Now, just so that you guys know, I have only released 2 videos, which is the first 4 episodes of this. The other one will be being released tonight, the last one. So the last 2 episodes where you get to see the non-binary character and all of that sort of thing. Anyway, it goes into Barriss. Barriss is in prison during the events of Order 66. She sees what's going on. She asks the guards, and the guards actually say to her, "You're lucky you're not a Jedi anymore." So I don't know about that. I think OG Star Wars made a really good point that, doesn't the inhibitor chip just make them want to kill? Shouldn't they just want to kill Barriss? Anyway, they don't. They say that you're lucky that you're not a Jedi. Then Lin shows up. Jedi Master Lin, Jedi Knight Lin. OG, help me out, or anyone in the chat that knows. Like, I think she looks familiar. I think I've seen her before. But anyway, I can't remember. And says, well, you can either come with me or you can basically stay here and die in prison or whatever. It's funny that she's in prison handcuffed. You would think that they would uncuff her. I mean, whether or not she's cuffed or not shouldn't necessarily change whether or not she can use the Force or not, right? But Lin just hovers her hand over the handcuffs. They fall off. Why couldn't Barriss do that to herself? But also, too, why was she locked in prison with the cuffs on? Wouldn't they uncuff her and then put the blast shield down and, she can't get out of the prison? Anyway, so she goes off. She gets trained by the Grand Inquisitor. There are 3 Jedi Knights, 3 ex-Jedi Knights. One decides to just run away or tries to run away. He gets killed. And then the last 2, by the end of the episode, are put up in a fight against each other. Only one winner. If you don't fight, you both die. Oh, and then you get the Vader entrance, which is literally just jangling keys. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. He literally walks into the room and sits on his throne, and that's it. Then Barriss and Lin go to a planet where they think that there's a Jedi. There's some rebellion activity going on. They kill all the villagers for lying to them about there being a Jedi there. And this is when you get the non-binary Jedi, the they, them. Now, the thing is with this, and I do mention it in my video, which you'll see tonight, but he evaded. Yes, he evaded. He certainly did. Barriss and Lin don't know who this person is. That's certainly how it comes across. They don't speak to him by name. The person doesn't speak to them back by name. There's no recognition there of who that they know who this person is. They certainly didn't have a conversation about, oh, what are your pronouns? Before we fight, before I ignite my lightsaber, do you want to let me know what your pronouns are? So there's none of that. And then the other part of it too is that Lin does strike down the non-binary character. Not dead, by the way, because Barriss starts to have second thoughts in regards to everything that's going on. And as they're leaving, Lin says, you know, it doesn't matter if the Jedi are going to surrender. They need to be eradicated. And then that immediately makes Barriss go, well, then you've got one more Jedi to get rid of. And Lin goes to turn around to then strike down Barriss, and Barriss force pushes her off the cliff. Doesn't kill her, by the way. And then goes back, the non-binary character's still alive. That's also where I have a problem. Lin just said that all the Jedi need to be eradicated, need to be killed, no matter whether or not they're surrendering or not, right? Now, in that moment, Barriss does kneel down and go, you know, we can help them. We can, like, they're still alive. As soon as she said that she's still alive, if Lin truly was that dark side, finish the job. Wouldn't they? If they didn't finish the job and then this Jedi just happens to be able to heal, you know, get some Bacta spray, heals their back up, and then goes off to maybe another planet and starts doing rebellion stuff there. As soon as that gets found out that Lin didn't kill that Jedi, wouldn't Vader or the Grand Inquisitor then strike her down? Or at least penalize her in some way, shape, or form? Especially with how Lin actually talks about it as they're walking away, that they just need to be killed, eradicated from the galaxy. And I also made the point, if you saw the clip that I put on Twitter, I also made the point that isn't that some sort of war crime for the creators to actually make the bad guys kill or strike down a non-binary character? So there's that part, and then the last episode is Barriss. It jumps forward. She's actually looks a fair bit older. She's on some snow planet. A family rocks up with a really, really small baby. They've run away because the Empire came and they did all the testing on the kids, and they must have found that this kid has potential and has force sensitivity. And they run away, go to Barriss's little camp, and then Barriss says to her acolytes, you could say, her people, someone's coming, which it ends up being Lin in the end. you take this family to this person, she'll help you. And when she says she'll help you, there's a couple of people that I've got in mind that I think it could be that they're sending this kid to. It could be Leia, but I don't know how Barriss knows Leia. Could be Ahsoka. Now, if Ahsoka and if Barriss knows where Ahsoka is, it means Ahsoka and Barriss have mended their problem. And I don't know if Ahsoka has got the you could say the patience, or would have the patience for what Barriss has to say in regards to the forgiveness there. But they're really the only two that I can sort of think of, unless it's got something to do with that path that we see in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, you know, where all those lightsabers are, because there's 1,000 Jedi that survived Order 66 now, wrote all their names on the walls. You know, Ki-Adi-Mundi was here. So that happens, that they eventually do escape. They get away. But before they get away, they're making their way through this canyon thing to get to wherever the ship was, right? I don't know why the ship's not just right next to the camp. Why do they have to go through like a cave and it's inside, like it's hidden inside a canyon or something? That made no sense to me. Wouldn't it have just been easier to have a ship right next to the camp? So if you do need to get away, you can just run onto the ship and get out of there. You don't need to run for kilometers on end to get to wherever your ship is to then escape. Another stupid thing. But then Lynn shows up. Barriss stands in the way, and Lynn's like, "Get out of my way." And Barriss, like, you know, Lynn starts attacking with the lightsaber, and Barriss starts just moving out the way the Grand Inquisitor was doing that to her during the training thing in episode 1 of Barriss's story. Episode 4. But episode 1 of Barriss's story. So she starts doing that, but then she goes, "I got to give him a head start," she says to Lynn. Barriss says to Lynn, "I've got to give them a head start." So after she's given them enough of a head start, she steps out of the way. Lynn walks past her, even though Lynn was saying that she needs to eradicate the Jedi. And even Barriss said, "Well, you've got one more Jedi to get rid of" in the previous episode, and pushed her off the cliff. Wouldn't that be more important than getting a potential Jedi child, or a Force-sensitive child? Wouldn't it be better to go back and report to the Grand Inquisitor or to Vader that I finally killed Barriss? No, Barriss just steps out of the way and lets her run after them. I don't know how, but in the cave too, Lynn gets in front of them. So she gets in front of them, and then they look around the corner. Oh, shit, Lynn's there. We'll go back this way. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They get away. Lynn is like being taunted now by Barriss in the cave or in the canyon, right? And Lynn can't find her way out. And this is another subliminal messaging or whatever for not Lynn getting out of the cave, but Lynn getting out of being a dark side user or being a Sith. Which I don't think she's an actual Sith. They're just dark side users. They use their hate and their anger. Barriss is taunting her, and then Barriss is like, "I'm here." And she's like throwing a lightsaber, chopping down walls with her lightsaber and stuff like this, getting really frustrated. And then she turns around and just stabs Barriss with her lightsaber. Another impalement. Guess what? Another survival of an impalement. Because then Lynn's like, "Oh, Barriss, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to let you die," and carries Barriss out of there alive with a lightsaber stabbing through the chest. That's pretty much it. That's all there is. There isn't any more. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Mike Hill for 5 says Tales of the Empire Tales of the Empire contradict Clone Wars final finale, since they didn't mind trying to kill Maul. That's kind of true, actually. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yep. And that's, thank you, Mike, for the $5. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, lightsabers don't do anything anymore. You had the non-binary character sliced in the back. Now, Morgan got sliced by Ahsoka and killed over and died, I think. This is what makes me think that Morgan's not dead. Right? But the non-binary Jedi gets sliced in the back, dead. I mean, not dead. Sorry, should be dead. Barriss gets stabbed and run through with a lightsaber, not dead. The more they do this, the more they make Qui-Gon like a complete and utter bitch, man. Like, just horrible. Lightsabers aren't the deadly weapon they used to be. They are not the deadly weapon they used to be. But that's Tales of the Empire. It was absolute garbage. It was completely pointless, and the stories meant nothing. But see, no, I see what you're saying there, but that's where the justification comes in for the Disney shills and the Disney seals. Oh, you were okay with Maul being sliced in half and coming back? No, I was never okay with it. Ever. That doesn't justify it. Certainly doesn't justify it. Well, that's true. Couldn't even slice up the zombie stormtroopers. Moving at snail's pace. 4 pieces? Could have worked. God damn. Okay. I don't know if I really want to watch this. I'm starting to get hungry. We've got an 11-minute video to watch about tracking fobs, but I also had this. Maybe we'll watch this one next week. So Star Wars Theory put out a video, Tales of the Empire, angry review breakdown. So I heard that he didn't like it, which is surprising when it's Dave Filoni. But I do want to hear what he has to say about it. We're not going to watch this one today. I'm sorry, guys. We've been going 3 hours and 10 minutes. We've still got a little bit more to get through. We will watch this one next week. All right? We'll watch that one next week. I promise. Tracking fobs are a joke. What the fuck? They are a joke. Yeah, Qui-Gon, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Okay, Cobra Kai, the final season of Cobra Kai is coming. And they dropped a little, looks like a little teaser here. Just give it a quick watch.
Love the smell of karate in the afternoon.
No mercy.
Get your asses ready.
We're not giving up without a fight.
Why are they breaking it up into 3 parts? That's silly. The thing that I find silly about that is the fact that, like, even with Invincible, them splitting that season, that second season, up into 2 parts, lost all its momentum. It lost all its goodwill because after the first 4 episodes of season 2, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's nowhere near as good as season 1." They would have lost audience because they didn't. And I've watched all of it, and I actually think it's good. Milking it. Fucking oath they are. So what do we got? We got part 1 on July 18th. So hang on. 15 episodes. So I'm guessing 5, 5, and 5, you would assume. So we're going to get 5 episodes on July 18th. Then we get another 5 episodes November 28th. It's too far apart, man. And then we get the final 5 episodes sometime in 2025. Yeah, they really are milking it, man. And it's a bad idea. Bad idea. Anyway, I'm still looking forward to at least completing this. And if there was anything else that I was sort of looking forward to, even though I've heard not so great things about it, it's the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Anyway, I think that's silly, breaking it up into 3 parts. Really, really, really silly. All righty. Here we go.
I'm all the Jedi.
All right, seal of the week. Here we go. So we've got 4 nominees this week. So the first one is Brody1 Kenobi. We saw a tweet from him earlier. Similar thing, but he says, he, she, I don't know, they, them, maybe. Let's have a look. Pronouns? No pronouns. I really like this character design. Major horror vibes and genuinely scary look. Disagree. Maybe a Knight of Ren connection. Again, really pushing that Knight of Ren stuff. Knights of Ren. It could be, but I doubt it. I very much doubt it, being that this is 100 years, approximately 160 years before Knights of Ren. So that's the first one. Your second nominee comes from Alex. Do we have pronouns? No, surprisingly. Jeez. Omega, a Star Wars story. When? You know, we say that people never ask for, like, you know, nobody asks for an Andor series. Nobody cares about that character. Nobody asks for, like, Morgan. Nobody asks for this. Nobody asks for that. Like, honestly, you're probably one of the only ones that is asking for something like this. But it annoys me because now I can say nobody ever asked for it if they do it. So that's your nominee number 2. Nominee number 3 comes from Force Wave. This is definitely going to have pronouns with the non-binary flag in the fucking thing. She, they. Says, anyway, Reylo is canon. Also, Rey is a Skywalker. If these facts upset you, you can die mad about it. Wow. Reylo isn't a thing because they came out and said it was a kiss of gratitude. Disney, Lucasfilm came out and said it was a kiss of gratitude. There was no love involved or anything like that. And stealing the name Skywalker, yeah, she can do that, just like she stole Poe's droid and she stole Han's ship and she stole Luke and Leia's lightsaber. And apparently she knew the moisture farm on Tatooine, exactly where Luke lived, even though they were never there together and never, I don't know. Stole Luke's sunset. Why not steal the name? She stole everything else. And the final one for this week is I'm even more convinced this is the first Ren from the Knights of Ren. There are your 4 nominees. Let's get the poll in the chat. All right, the poll is up. So just a refresh. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Get your votes in, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Sorry, I'm just unsharing my screen because I don't know whether or not I actually shared audio. All right, here we go. Alan from Generation... What's his main channel? I know it's not Generation Films. Generation Next? I can't remember now. Anyway, all right, here we go. How tracking fobs in The Mandalorian work. I'm very interested to see how your headcanon can explain this away, because that's all it is. What do we got? Titles. What is a tracking fob? Most replayed. Okay. Fob tracking. Baby Yoda. Chain codes. All right, here we go.
Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Films. My name is Alan. In the opening scene of the first episode of The Mandalorian, we see 2 toughs bashing in a Mithril's head into a bar table and remarking just how much his glands are worth and basking in his sweet musk. Just before the 2 thugs are about to perform a very unhygienic thorax removal surgery, the Mandalorian appears at the door. He has his own reasons for pursuing this little blue alien, but how does he find him? Well, first there's the bounty book, which is a small disc that has information on a bounty that can be displayed in holographic form. And then there's something known as a tracking fob. This is a device that most bounty hunters in the region seem to rely on to find their targets.
Yes, which is stupid because it does remove the uniqueness of each individual bounty hunter and how they track their bounties.
But it's unknown how exactly this stuff works, which is what we're going to try to find out today.
I almost want to turn it off. I almost want to turn it off. We're going to try and explain how they work. So you don't know. You don't know. You're just going to fill it with your bullshit headcanon to explain to us how tracking fobs work.
First, let's take a look at what we know about this device. The tracking fob is a handheld device with a small red blinking light and a small loop-style antenna. The fob emits a beeping noise when it's close to a target, and the rate of the beeps speed up the closer one is to the target. The tracking fob is a part of the standard info package given to a bounty hunter alongside with a bounty puck and something known as a chain code. Once the bounty hunter is done with the tracking fob, they are required to return it to the client as proof for capture.
Yeah, but this is the other thing too, is like we've got, I know there's a section in there about chain codes, but like we've got massive confusion in regards to what a chain code is too, right? Because is it earlier Bad Batch episodes or something? I think it was. The chain codes were given to people on a disc, like a pad, right? But then in The Mandalorian, when Bulba gets his armor back from Mando, he shows the chain code on his armor. And then I think there's even in something where the chain code is something to do with their blood. So again, we've still got even no explanation in regards to what a chain code is. But let's see Alan try and headcanon-splain this to us.
So this looks quite similar to a radio tracker one might use to track wild animals, pets, babies, or maybe even a friend who gets blackout drunk every time you go out. These trackers receive a very high frequency or VHF radio waves from a transmitter which is placed on the target. So this—
How? Oh man, Alan, I hope you fucking can explain this away without fucking opening up a whole can of worms into more questions. It's like I've said before. So let's say somebody goes to Jabba the Hutt and says, Jabba, I want 250,000 credits. Can you please lend me 250,000 credits? Because I want to go, I've got a line on a horse, whatever, right? Need 250,000 credits. And Jabba goes, yeah, no problem. But we've got to give you this device or inject you with this device that if I want to put a bounty on you, if you fail to pay me back and I want to put a bounty on your head, this is a way that we can find you. Sounds pretty stupid if you ask me. What transmitter was the little blue guy transmitting?
This means the animal or human must first be subdued and sedated so that the transmitter can safely be placed on them. The receiver will send out a radio signal which the transmitter will pick up, guiding the individual with that transmitter to the target. Now,
so okay, you could make the argument that yes, maybe Grogu being such a, you know, baby, you might have been able to put a transmitter on them, but why would the blue guy say, okay, put a transmitter in me? What about the guy from Book of Boba Fett in the Mandalorian episodes of the Book of Boba Fett? You know, the one that he decapitates and takes to that other guy?
scientists here on Earth have been using this device since the 60s, and it's a pretty tried and true technology. The transmitters are so small now that they can even be placed inside of a target. The problem is, without another device to help you triangulate the signal, a VHF radio tracker will only let you know if you're getting closer to an object and which direction they are in, rather than their exact location. Now, if you don't have a map or a decent understanding of the area, that radio tracker can also lead you into impassable obstacles like a river or a cliffside or something else like that. And also, the radio waves actually do have a limited range, and they can be obstructed by things like mountains or the curvature of the Earth.
So how do you explain them being able to track across the entire galaxy? Like, for example, when they're actually in space flying and you see the bounty in his ship, the bounty hunter in his ship, and you see the tracking fob on his dashboard, right? Because they're tracking Grogu.
Believe in such things. In The Mandalorian, the fobs being used have similar characteristics to a VHF radio tracking device. For one, the Mandalorian uses...
Is that your explanation of it? Show me the source material that says that it's a VHF signal. Show me that source material, please. I'm not taking your headcanon as canon. Because your headcanon is your opinion. The way that you sit there and try and justify it. I don't want justifications. I want explanations.
Has to be pretty close to a target for the VHF radio tracking device to activate. When the client...
So how then, when Grogu is on that planet where they're, you know, they're mining for the Seven Samurai one, they're mining for those little blue shrimp things, right? And you get that ATST that comes out of the forest that's not a part of the Empire. It's been taken over by the locals or whatever, local bandits or whatever. And then at the end of that episode, there's a bounty hunter tracking Grogu, but yet if there's only a certain distance that it can track, then what is that bounty hunter doing there? How did he track all the way across the galaxy and end up on that planet where Grogu is conveniently enough?
Gives the Mandalorian the job. He doesn't have a bounty puck form, but what he does have is the target's last location and a tracking fob. All the Mandalorian really needs to do is to get within a certain distance to the target, and the tracking fob would do the rest of the work. There are, of course, other ways to track an individual. Here on Earth, researchers use satellite beacons as well. Instead of sending radio waves to a receiver, it sends it to a satellite in orbit, which then you can link up to with a computer. Multiple satellites.
But first of all, I still don't buy into the fact that all of these bounties... Look how many bounties bounty pucks Greef Karga had. When after Mando gets back to Greef Karga, he's got what, 3 or 4 tracking fobs with 3 or 4 bounties. You know, he freezes them all in carbonite in his ship. Are you telling me that every single one of those people allowed a receiver to be put into their body somehow? There's no way. There's no way.
Can triangulate the location of an individual. So that means as long as that satellite is connected to the HoloNet or some subspace transmitter, then the bounty hunter should be able to know the location of their bounty no matter where they are. And in The Mandalorian, that's really not the case. GPS trackers also...
What? Hang on. You've given an explanation, but then you've said in The Mandalorian that's not the case. So why are you even using this as an explanation? I'm lost.
Use satellites, but instead receive radio signals from GPS satellites. Another reason why The Mandalorian is probably not using a satellite or GPS tracker is that they usually come in much more complicated devices. These are usually going to be computers or data pads that will be able to overlay coordinates or even position straight onto an overhead map of some sort. The fob tracker that The Mandalorian is using looks a lot more similar to a very simple radio tracker that we would use here on Earth. Now, if you look at the antenna of the fob, it's what's known as a loop antenna. The advantage of a loop antenna is that it's better at receiving directional signals. You kind of have to orient the antenna in a certain way to get the strongest signal. This is reflected in the show by how the Mandalorian must pan the scanner around first to find the exact direction of the target. This would be an annoying feature on, say, a car radio where you'd want to have more omnidirectional reception. It's actually very useful on a tractor This way you can know exactly what direction that signal is coming from. Loop antennas, however, are limited by how large the size of the loop is. Small loop antennas like the ones mounted on the fob have very poor efficiency and are not good for transmission, but still can be used to receive radio waves.
And can still be apparently used across the galaxy.
They're also cheap, simple, and light to construct, which makes them ideal for these kind of situations. Now, the biggest problem with most of the trackers we've talked about is the fact that for any of them to work, a transmitter or a receiver of some type needs to be pinned onto the target. And as you can imagine, it's much more difficult to do this to a sentient being rather than some dumb animal you just shot with a tranq dart. I originally thought that maybe Dr. Pershing had some contact with Baby Yoda many years ago, which means it is possible for the doctor or some other tech to embed a tracker either in Baby Yoda's clothing, crib, or inside its body.
Okay, so there's a couple of problems with this. What about all the other bounties, first of all? Did they just allow people to put receivers in their bodies or on their clothing or whatever the case may be? If they did, then wouldn't they try and remove it, remove their clothing, change their clothing? If Mando knows how these things work and was able to track Baby Grogu with a tracking fob, wouldn't he then, to try and protect Grogu, want to remove that receiver? Or transmitter, I should say. Whether it be something inserted into the body or whether or not it be something on the clothing. We know that it wasn't tracking this egg pod thing because that gets destroyed and then gets remade. I'm pretty sure. It's been a long time.
It would make sense for someone to put a tracker on a very important and special subject like the Baby Yoda. It also makes sense.
What about the blue guy? What about the other bounties that that Mando had in his ship? What about the guy from the Book of Boba Fett that he tracks with a bounty and kills? What about all of them? I understand that your justification comes from a place of where we're just going to talk about Grogu. But I'm sorry, man, you got to be broader than that because it's not just Grogu that can be tracked with a tracking fob.
For someone who just made bail to have a tracker on them as well. And if we remember, Greef Karga does mention that most of the bounties are bail jumpers. But of course, not every target the bounty hunters go after are going to have an implanted chip in them. That would make life way too easy. I'm also sure that criminals would be able to move these trackers eventually once they figured out that they had them. And it's not like it's a secret that bounty hunters have fobs. Everyone knows they do. Also, if a tracker was placed on Baby Yoda, then the Mandalorian must have known as well because he used the tracker to find the Baby Yoda in the first place.
Exactly what I just said.
So why didn't he remove it once he rescued the Baby Yoda? There are other technologies on how a tracker could work that we just haven't figured out here on Earth. In Star Wars, there are all sorts of...
Stop relating it to here on Earth, man. We don't have hyperspace here on Earth, but there's an explanation of how hyperspace works. And of course, Disney fuck all over that law. Who cares what technology we have here on Earth and how that relates to tracking fobs in a non-real universe? But we still need an explanation. We still need the rules. We still need the law.
Sensors that can detect organic life and energy. It's definitely possible that these fobs work with more advanced technology. Maybe the fobs can be adjusted to detect certain species, genders, or age groups, or perhaps it can even detect each individual's unique genetic makeup.
So based on the fact that you're saying that it's a VHF transmitter, how? Different species? It can track different species? Again, I want to point out this is all his headcanon. This is his justifications. And so far, not one explanation that he has given makes sense or can't then be debunked by asking another question.
Maybe you can key in on an organic being's unique heartbeat or bioelectrical signal. This information could be integrated onto a fob by each client and then given to the bounty hunters. This could be where the whole chain code thing comes in as well. When the Mandalorian gets his bounty from the client tells him that the chain code is limited and only the last 4 digits are available. The Mandalorian immediately inputs that data into his Vambrace. Maybe that actually updates the fob with new information.
Oh, get the fuck out! That's so stupid! That's so dumb! Are you kidding me? If you only got the last 4 numbers, how does that work? That means the tracking fob wouldn't work. It wouldn't detect him. Wouldn't it? Oh my God. Fucking idiots, man.
I hope they've figured out something better than Bluetooth by then. Now, the chain code could serve as kind of an identification number. Here on Earth, your ID will tell the government where you live, your birth date, your name, your height, possibly your eye color. But in a society with extremely advanced technology, I imagine my biometrics would also be involved in my ID, which means maybe the chain code also includes information about your blood type, fingerprints, or even your DNA or force sensitivity.
Dickhead, my license, my passport, my any form of identification that I have doesn't give you my blood type. It doesn't give you... This guy's a fucking retard, man. Do we have to finish this? I feel like we kind of do, but I really don't want to.
This is something clearly that the Empire would do, and even though the Empire is gone, I'm sure a lot of their systems still remained intact. And this would actually make a lot of sense for these tracking devices, because if you can get a hold of this information, then you can track basically anyone without putting any kind of device on them first.
It's the same as tracking DNA, you fuckwit. How does DNA transmit a signal? Will Gentry is in the... Man, it's been a long time, Will. It's been a long time. Good to see you, dude. I hope you're doing well. I really hope you're doing well, man.
It's strange that the bounty hunters are required to return the fobs to their clients when they're done with a bounty. When the Mandalorian returns to Greef Karga with several bounties in Carbonite, he places several fobs on the table signaling the end of the contract, but when Greef Karga tries to pay the Mandalorian in Imperial credits, which are basically worth nothing at this point, the Mandalorian withdraws the fobs and Greef rushes to stop him. Why are the fobs so important in this case? Greef Karga already has his thugs unloading bodies off the Mandalorian ship. Surely the bodies in Carbonite are going to be a lot more important to Greef Karga's clients than just the fobs. But then again, maybe the clients will need the fobs. They identified the actual bodies. Maybe there have been cases where people have just taken random bodies off the street and given them to the clients. And this is kind of a safety measure to make sure you're actually getting what you paid for. This would support the idea that each fob is coded to a specific biotrait in each target. Now, when the Mandalorian first gets his bounty from the Imperial client, notice that it's not the Imperial client that provides him with the fob. Instead, it looks like Dr. Pershing has prepared it somewhere in the background. The scientist, again, seems to have prior knowledge and experience working with the Baby Yoda, which is why it makes sense that it would be the Doctor who pairs the fob and not the Imperial client. The Baby Yoda doesn't have a chain code, or at least the client is not willing to give the full chain code to the Mandalorian, either because there just isn't any information on the little green guy, or that information is too precious to be given out to just anyone. According to Kuiil, the Ugnaught on Arvala 7, all sorts of bandits, mercenaries, and bounty hunters have come and tried to retrieve the Baby Yoda. And later, when the Mandalorian leaves the Imperial compound, it seems like almost every thug in the area also has a tracker. So as you can see, the Empire is desperate to capture this Baby Yoda, and they've given almost every bounty hunter in the sector a tracking fob, and it makes sense that they would hold back a more crucial and important piece of information like the chain code. When the Mandalorian steals back the Baby Yoda, the fobs immediately turn on. This could be because the Mandalorian left Dr. Pershing alive, who probably then activated the bounty once again. Had the Mandalorian killed the Doctor as well, he probably wouldn't have gotten stuck in this terrible shootout. So to sum it up, these fobs are basically programmed to track one individual's unique biosignature, and they also seem to have a pretty limited range. So if the Mandalorian makes it out of the system, which he does, it will be pretty difficult to find them again.
Except in the very next episode, sorry.
In the next few episodes.
But then in the very next episode, they get found.
So guys, those are some of my theories on what the tracking fob is. Let me know in the comments.
Theories. This is stupid. There you go. I'll let you know my thoughts of your stupid, retarded thoughts on tracking fobs in your comments. God damn. Shush! I'm angry enough as it is. You can wait for your food. All right, let's wrap this bitch up. Where am I going? All right, let's bring this up. Seal of the week. Let's wrap up this poll. All right, so there are your nominees, all 4 of them. Shut up, Eric. All right, we got 20 votes. That's enough. Here we go. Ending the poll. Poll has ended. Okay, so in last place with 10% of the vote is another person thinking that this could be the first Ren. Idiots. In second last place or third place, depending on how you want to look at it. I have shared it, sorry. With 20% of the vote was number 2, Alex, saying Omega, a Star Wars story. When? In second place, runner-up this week, with 25% of the vote, is Brody One Kenobi, again, thinking that this is a Knight of Ren, or a part of the Knights of Ren, 160 years before we ever see the Knights of Ren. And in first place, the winner of this week's Seal of the Week is the she, they, themselves Force Wave, saying, anyway, Reylo is canon. Also, Rey is a Skywalker. If these facts upset you, you can die mad about it. Congratulations. You have won this week's Seal of the Week.
I'm all the Jedi.
All right, that's awesome. I think we made up for not making it last week. Look at all the seal clapping emojis in the chat. You guys are awesome. Yeah. That's it. We're done. Like I said, I think we made up for last week. We went for, 3 hours, 45 minutes. Very cool. We had a great audience today. Thank you, everyone, for being here, being in the chat. You guys are the best. Thank you to the super chatters, and thank you to the members and the mods as well. And thank you for all of you guys just being here and your ongoing support. You guys are the best. We will see you next week. We will look at that theory video. I promise you. We will definitely have a look at that and see what his thoughts are on the Tales of the Empire, but we will do that next week. And other than that, what have I got coming up? This weekend over on the Full Aussie channel, we are going to be doing Back of the Ute. I think we're going to have a very special guest coming back this week as well. And then on Sunday or Saturday night, depending on where you are in the world, I'll be over on Flashcast, not talking about Star Wars because Flash never lets me talk about Star Wars. Bastard. And other than that, there's not really much happening this week. Maybe, just maybe I could get started. I don't want to make any promises, but maybe I could get started on the Stargate stuff. But we'll see. Theory was angry. Oh, it's about time he gets angry. They've been destroying his favorite franchise for ages, and he's just been sitting there sucking Filoni's cock the whole time. So it's about time he got angry. The problem is that even though this Filoni creation of the Tales of the Empire, if he's really that angry about it, he will still sit there and say that Filoni is the right person moving forward, which is just gay. It's just gay. It's so dumb. Anyway, thank you, everyone. If you haven't, please smash the like button. If you are rewatching the stream, I thank you as well, and please smash the like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Obviously, for ongoing Disney Star Wars bullshit is what I'll be reacting to and talking about mostly. There hopefully will be other stuff, but like I said, time isn't on my side at the moment with work and everything going on. But that doesn't matter. We will get as much content out as we possibly can for you guys, and that's the way it is. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next week for Casual Rage 172. Where am I going? All right, bye, guys.
Put a ticket in and make your name gay!
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like Dustin, ain't like Dustin Crops, kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bounce into a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
Be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking it very cautiously.
You go away.
We bounced too near a supermarket?
They came bounding over.